Foster is a guy much akin to the speed and discipline receivers that Florida has.
Just like the Florida receivers.
Second pass, set to the pocket, gonna run it. Cuts it back into the middle. Gets by one tackler and is gonna have 4 yards in the play. Mike Moten tripped him up. Now, one of the things that Tyler brings to the table is that right there. You better make sure that you keep him in the pocket. Plus the fact, Mike, LSU, to keep that defense honest, is going to run a small percentage of options tonight.
They are, and what he did on that play is he was going to throw the ball to Kevin Falk on the outside, but Florida was in man coverage, took it away, so he showed his scrambling ability up inside.
Huge win for Penn State tonight, 31-27 over an awfully good Ohio State team tonight, as that was a to and fro. This one here starting off as though it may be to and fro. Down the line, there's the option I talk about. Falk with a pick, has the first down, and he's off and running. Caught by Rutledge, and if he doesn't get him, it's 6 points LSU.
Well, you talked about early the threat of the option, and this is the way you want Herb Tyler to start the football game. He has started very positively. Morris Watts, the offensive coordinator, calling for the option. Florida hasn't seen the option yet this game. Kevin Falk takes it on the outside, big play.
So it's a gain of 20, and this crowd, as you can imagine, is rocking. Falk now 3 carries, 31 yards. High formation. Banks is the fullback, the freshman out of West Monroe, Louisiana. He's blocking. Falk carried into the secondary. Has 5, has 10. Cut it off at 11 yards, and Banks is the man with the paving block that opened it up. And the Tigers right now are solving this Bobby Stoops defense.
Well, it's important that they score, Ron, because you want to have a good first drive, but you want to come away with some points here. Good blocking. Tommy Banks, number 43. Alan Faneca, number 66. Trey Langley, 75. I talked about this offensive line. You and I visited about this. This is a very good match for Florida's defensive line.
1st and 10. The line of scrimmage inside the 20. Falk again. This time he's going to be slowed up. Ball is loose. Nobody has seen it. Florida has picked it up. And that's 54, Willie Rogers, as the ball came flying out of the pack. And much akin to what happened last year to LSU against Alabama. They drove the ball right down the field, got a penalty, and came away with nothing.
And it's just what I was saying a play ago, because if you don't score touchdowns against Florida, you can forget it, because you're going to be in track meet, because you know they're going to score points. Rondale Mealy, number 7, gets the ball knocked out.
McGrew.
It will look like McGrew, who's just back this week, knocked the ball out for the fumble, and Florida now starts on offense. Wow, tough break.
LSU drives the ball right down the field. Florida comes back with their offense. This running play by Taylor going to be held up as he crosses the 28 to the 29, and that's Charles Smith who has stopped him. Let's check the starters as we try to regroup here in a very rapid start. Doug Johnson, of course, the quarterback. Brett Taylor and Rod Frazier. Taylor looking for still another 100-yard game. The wide receivers, they are oh so deep. But Green, certainly the cream of the crop. And keep an eye on 89. Aaron Kinney, outstanding and huge tight end. The offensive line, Pillar, Caleb Rich, Blackshear, and Mo Collins. Pillar just back. Second down and 6. Pressure, gonna be sacked. Chuck Wiley. A loss of 15.
4-man defensive front. Chuck Wiley's a captain on defense. Carl Reese says he's the kind of player you want to coach with a great work ethic, and you see him beat the block of number 59, Wiley Rich, for the sack. Now, Ron, what LSU's doing here, they're bringing in a lot of different players on 3rd and long yardage. Substitute, you see Chuck Wiley on the sideline. And it looks like it's a lot of group of defensive ends, linebackers, and best cover guys. So you now, if you're LSU, you have your best athletes on the field.
You might guess what they call it. The bandit package, which goes back to the late 50s, the Chinese bandits. Jerry DiNardo trying to shake them up a little bit, take something out of the past that was successful. Doug Johnson's going to have trouble hearing these signals. fumbles on the snap. Pressure is on. Screen pass to the tight end, and Kenny is going to be knocked down immediately by Twilly. And listen to this fired-up LSU crowd. Down and 23. Robbie Stevenson will kick it away. Falk is back deep. No score, but from the noise, you would think we've already had several. They got the return on this as a driving spiral with the wind. Falk all the way back to the 29-yard line. Return to the near sideline. Waits for his block. He gets it. Gets another. One man to beat. And Stevenson slows him up and up. And he's caught from behind.
Stepped out of bounds around the 40-yard line. They're going to back it up about 15 yards.
Jerry DiNardo looking down the sideline to see if there are any flags. There are none. And his Tigers take it over in Florida territory. As you look once again.
What makes this return is Kevin Falk gives time for his players to set up the return. You see him almost jog, and then he turns it on down the sideline after he gets a lot of good blocks.
Charles Smith with an outstanding block of the play, number 35. As you see Bobby Stoops on the sideline, or I beg your pardon, Coach Stevens on the sideline talking with his offensive line. Frazier in motion. Tyler down the sideline. He will score. 40 yards.
Ron, we talked about Herb Tyler has to have the game of his life. He made a smart decision here, not pitching the ball to Rondell Mealy. Then picks up a nice block downfield by Faneca, 66. Gets another block by Rondell Mealy.
Wade Ritchie with the extra point. The option play, 40 yards. The keeper by Tyler, and a shocked Florida team is down 7-0 to this homestanding LSU Tigers. Let's take a break. 8:42 left in the opening quarter. Tigers on top.
All-Star Ford in Denham Springs puts you in a nice vehicle at a nice price. Lease a 98 GX2 with all this for $188 a month. Lease this decked out 97 F-150 style side Super Cab, just $289 a month. And this loaded 97
ESPN's presentation of college football, Florida versus LSU, is brought to you by the American Express corporate card. Let American Express give your small business the power to do more. And by Chrysler, engineered to be great cars. Well, we are back, and Herb Tyler talked to him yesterday. He said it was horrible in the Auburn game, got off to such a miserable start, and he said, I did all the wrong things. I'm normally calm. He said it was too high. I tried too hard. Tomorrow, I will be calm. And he certainly has started that way tonight as Bo Carroll takes the kickoff, and he can do the same thing in reverse. As Carroll takes it all the way out of beyond the 40-yard line, and finally is pushed out at the 45 by Cummings. 43 yards on the return.
That's the one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to give Florida a short field. I don't want to just go over this play that they scored and just stop it here a second. Now, this is a good decision. Now, this is Rondell Mealy here who's going to get the pitch. But now, watch his hustle down the field. This is what causes championship plays now. He doesn't stop. He'll get a block right here to ensure that Herb Tyler's going to get in that end zone.
Also, Faneca had thrown one block and was headed down the field. Nice job by him. Green in motion. Pitch back comes to Taylor. Turning the corner to 50 inside the 45-yard line. Chris Cummings will bump him out of bounds. 13 yards on the play. And Green, who not only catches it well, was out front blocking on that play.
Ron, look at that graphic right there. 91-10 in the first quarter. But that return of that kickoff.
First time that anybody scored a a touchdown on him in the first quarter.
That's right, but that return sets up. You don't want to play a short field with this offense, Florida's. You can't get satisfied with one touchdown. You're going to need a bunch.
Number 69 is injured.
Well, that's Zach Piller, who was shaken up on the play. They just got him back. He's only played like 3 or 4 plays in the last 2 ball games, and you can see him limping off, favoring his left leg. You'll get a report. That means that Cooper Carlisle, a sophomore out of Macomb, Mississippi, will come in replacing Zach Piller. Carlisle, 6'6", 291, and a sophomore.
Ron, it takes about one series. And Steve Spurrier knows what Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator LSU, is trying to do. Bobby Stoops now has an understanding of what Morris Flax is going to do. So now it's a game of adjustments.
Johnson sets in the pocket, going to go up on top, looking for Green. He's got him, just knocked away at the last moment. Chris Cummings, nice job defensively on Jaquez Green.
But that's what they do. They make you work the field on defense. Jaquez Green, who's a great receiver, caught 10 touchdowns last year and 4 more that were called back by penalties. So he shows you what a big play receiver he is. He just runs by Chris Cummings. And what that'll set up now, Ron, the short outs now, because Chris Cummings all of a sudden is thinking, whew, man, that guy's fast. I'm going to give him a little bit more room. So he's going to open him up a little short passing game.
Number 8, Matisse Kareem comes in replacing him. Pass got away, and it's been intercepted. Cedric Donaldson. Donaldson, they need a block on Doug Johnson, and he could take it the distance. At the 15, and is going to be tripped up on a great hustle play by one of the comeback receivers, I believe Harris Ruff. But 68 yards on the return by Donaldson.
Well, you always look for big plays. Now, Donaldson made a great big play here for LSU, but a big play by Doug Johnson also making this tackle. The ball just took off on Doug Johnson.
It did. Mike, we talked about the wind. The follow wind is behind him, and it just skied on it.
Just took off. But remember this tackle that Doug Johnson makes here, because you can allow a team to score and not make this play. But Doug Johnson, with 3 LSU blockers in his way, does the right thing. He does not let him get to the sideline and causes that tackle. Let's see if it pays off.
Tyler gives the ball up the middle. Touchdown, Tommy Banks. Hello there. Wow. If you've just joined us, 7:44 to play, opening quarter, and the score you see is correct. The LSU Tigers trying to go out on top 14-0 over top-ranked Florida.
Looked like they trapped the defensive tackle for the touchdown.
Wade Ritchie, perfect on the extra point. Jerry DiNardo's LSU Tigers in a shocking mood tonight. Let's take a timeout as you look at Banks, the freshman from West Monroe, diving into the end zone.
Let me be connected to you.
At Cellular One, being connected means keeping it simple. Now you can get the right plan with an extra 300 minutes free. No money down, just $19.95 per month, plus an extra 300 minutes at no charge. It's the uncomplicated way to get wireless service into your life.
We keep you connected. Cellular One to the business of life.
It's the Go for the Goal Line sales event at Robinson Brothers. Purple tags, $6,000 off. And gold tags get you $9,000 off.
Go for the goal line and choose from 1297 Mercury Stables, just $18,999. AC, stereo cassette, power windows, locks, power seats, cruise, tilt, leather, $18,999.
It's 97 clearance. No hidden costs, no hidden charges at Robinson Brothers.
Under the giant American flag for over 51 years.
Why order from samples when you can come to Carpet Kingdom and choose from hundreds of rolls for immediate delivery.
Truckload buying allows us to give you the absolute lowest prices.
How about this $30 Saxony?
$16.99 a stall.
How about this $24 Texas?
$13.99 a stall.
How about this $22 Berber?
$12.99 a stall.
A truckload of $5.99 Oak Forest.
$269 a square foot, wood only. 12-month interest free on everything in the entire store. If you need flooring, come to Carpet Kingdom now.
Cedric Donaldson on the sideline, and it was his interception of a Doug Johnson pass. And the senior from Jackson, Mississippi, took the ball back 68 yards, setting up the touchdown run. And all of a sudden, LSU has jumped out on top by a score of 14-0.
Well, you look at the first half points allowed the first 5 games, and tonight already 14, but I still say it's going to take a lot of points to beat this Florida team.
Bo Carroll has the ball, fumble, and go out of bounds. So the Florida Gators will take it over at their own 20. College football next Saturday at ESPN, 12:30 Eastern. Tim White and Tavian Banks lead the 16th-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes into Ann Arbor for a Big Ten showdown with number 6 Michigan. Then at 7 o'clock, Peyton Manning and 10th-ranked Tennessee join us in Birmingham as they take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. It's all here next Saturday on ESPN. Well, that tells a huge story right there. Total yards, 100 by LSU, 1 for the Florida Gators. By the way, one more point on Cooper Carlisle, who was coming to tackle. As Doyle Jackson says, there was a timeout, Florida Gators. So we'll get back to that point in just a moment. And we'll take the break. 14-0 to LSU on top. We'll be right back.
From the beginning, you wanted only the best for them, especially when it came to health care. Now, Ochsner Clinic doctors are available on most health plans. For the most important people in your life, for all the stages of your life, choose a health care plan that offers Ochsner physicians. At Ochsner, we want to see you. What do you want out of life? What will it take to get it? What are your best choices? So, what's stopping you? What matters to you? Hibernia, where service matters.
All day, every day, Coleman Toyota's making Louisiana life a little easier with everyday low prices on 98 Toyotas. Tacomas, Corollas, Camrys with everyday Toyota quality. 4Runners, T100 RAV4s, Avalons with everyday Toyota dependability. Premier shipments, premier pricing. Coleman Toyota, your Toyota value leader every day. Coleman Toyota, still right on the corner, still right on the price.
Pulling it down, yes. Well, we're back. We are back, and if you wonder why Florida took a timeout, they were charged with a timeout. Watch this, the officials, and I believe it's Nafis Kareem. Here you go, the call. They're making him pull his pants down below his knees so that it is a padded area, because the uniform is not official if you don't. You see them up above his knees. That's an illegal uniform. They were charged with the timeout. That's the reason for the stoppage in play. Counter tray. Taylor, maybe a gain of a couple. Chuck Wiley. And let's check in with Mike Tirico. Mike.
Not a good last half hour for the big teams from Florida. In Durham, Bobby Campbell, the keeper, and Duke has taken a 7-0 lead over Florida State. Then the next possession, Duke defense holds FSU 3 and out.
Wow. Well, Mike, is it one of those Saturday nights?
Break up Duke.
Taylor now 3 carries, 21 yards. From the shotgun, Doug Johnson. Drills it, got it complete to Kareem, and he's out of bounds at the 42. And Mike, I would make the point, he had him open once, didn't throw on time, and waited for him to move on across in front of the secondary and hit him then.
You're right, because he had time, pass protection time. And he was able to sit back there and just wait for Kareem to open up. He just sat there and waited for him to come open.
Well,
here's the replay of it. Doug Johnson in the shotgun. He just no pressure at all, just waiting for number 8, Kareem, to come open.
2 of 4, 16 yards for Johnson. Straight ahead with Fred Taylor, almost to the 45, as Charles Smith will make the hit. In fact, they say he does make it to the 45-yard line. And an unusual situation for Florida in the early going. They've been playing with 2nd and long, and it normally doesn't happen.
Yeah, and you know what the key is for another key for LSU tonight is not to allow Florida to establish any kind of running game. They've had 4,500-yard rushing performances under Steve Spurrier.
Zach Miller on the sideline, looks as though he's going to be there for a bit. Cooper Carlisle, who's in for him, started 3 games this year, so it's not like an inexperienced player. As Green makes the catch, he will have the first down, and let's check in with Adrian Carson following that 11-yard gain.
He's not an inexperienced player, Ron, good point, but he's going to have to go the rest of the way because Zach Pillar, the junior offensive lineman, is out of the game, I am told, with a hamstring injury, so his comeback was not long-lived. One other problem I need to mention here that the Gators are having is play selection. Their game plan offensively for this contest was based on being ahead at this point, not down by 14 points, so they're scrambling, trying to decide what to run.
Well, they're one of the better scrambling groups around.
Believe me, they got a playbook that's very big. They'll find some things.
Johnson hit, and he's sacked by McFarland. Mike, one of the things that Steve Spurrier said on Tuesday when I was down in Gainesville that he was really concerned with in the Arkansas game, he said, our quarterbacks got knocked down 14 times, and he said, we're going to lose a quarterback if we don't do a better job in picking up.
Very concerned about it, and Anthony McFarland, who's one of the better defensive linemen in the SEC, has started here at LSU since his freshman year. Just beats the block and puts a good hit on Doug Johnson. It's the best pass defense you can have.
Yeah, that's for sure. Caleb is a man who couldn't contain him. You see, he's been sacked twice in this first quarter. 2nd and long. Got his man. There's Green. And when he's dangerous is after he catches the football. Mark Roman puts the stop on him, but it's a gain of 17. And Jaquez is only 5'9", 172. But good heavens, once he catches the football, you better be close or it's all over.
Well, you go back to the first pass that they tried to throw him the ball down the sideline when he ran by Chris Cummins. Now he has demanded the respect of those defensive backs, so they're going to give him that cushion.
Green, 2 catches, 28 yards. Linebackers creeping up. They go with Taylor on the running play. Very short yardage, but he'll have the first down as Joe Wesley is down at the bottom of the stack, and Florida moves the chains. So the sack, they overcome it. And the most important thing is moving the chains, and that's exactly what they've done, as the clock is now down under 4:20 to play, opening quarter. 8th play of the drive for the Florida Gators. They started back at their own 20. Doug Johnson, the sophomore out of Gainesville, sets deep in the pocket. Far sideline, looking to the end zone. Travis McGift, and that ball is almost intercepted by Donaldson. He already has one, and he went diving for a second one.
Again, probably a bad decision by Doug Johnson to try to go to Travis McGift. That ball could have very easily been intercepted. 2 years ago, Ron, Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator, held Florida to 321 yards. This is Carl Reese right here making the defensive calls tonight.
Second down and 10. Play action again. Far side ball is tipped. Nice job knocked down by Clarence LeBlanc, the sophomore out of River Ridge, Louisiana. As as it did appear as though the receiver was open for a moment, and the Blonde did a nice job of adjusting and coming back to tip the ball.
Here comes the Bandits on the field again. Now all the athletes. Now they take out all the defensive linemen and bring in all linebacker, defensive back types right here because they figure that Florida's not going to try to run the football, so they want pass rushers and cover guys.
Third down. The line to make for Florida is the LSU 23. 14-0. Tigers leading. Johnson sets, gets his pass away, got him. That's Green. He'll have the first down and is tackled inside the 20 and around the 16 by Donaldson.
Well, he's smooth and he's getting a lot of space in the secondary. He's on the Blitnikoff watch list. Maybe the best receiver in the country. You see, there's no one. They removed the underneath coverage, and they are so fearful of his speed that the cushion is so big.
This time he and Richardson go wide to the right along with McGriff. 3 wide receivers, top of your screen. Wind picks up here at Baton Rouge. Again, they go to the right side. Somebody blew a coverage. Nobody on Green, and he'll take it down to the 5-yard line. Donaldson on the tackle. And Mike, I say that not knowing exactly what Carl had called, but there had to be somebody closer in the zone.
Yeah, what I think happened there, he had a misread. That a lot of times you'll read the pattern. Jacquez Green just comes off the ball real slow, and he's sitting right out here in the flat, and there's nobody near him. Now, I know he's got great speed, but not that great. Cedric Donaldson, number 27, was guarding the goal line.
Gain of 12 in the play. First and goal for the Florida Gators. They go with the running play. Taylor inside the 4, and he's down to the 3. Charles Smith defensively for LSU. And quickly they get McFarland back in the ball game as Mitchell comes to the sideline.
When you see all the substitutions that LSU's doing, and we talked about the bandit front where all the athletes come in the front four, where they think that will help them if this game's close in the fourth quarter, then you look to get a pass rush, and you don't want your defensive linemen tired. So they're trying to save them throughout this ball game.
That's Kareem coming here just in front of you to the right of your screen. 13th play of the drive. Pitch back goes to Taylor at the 3, at the 2, he will score. Cooper Carlisle, number 70, with a paving block on the touchdown run. So those Gator faithful who traveled up here to Baton Rouge can all of a sudden exhale because in the first almost 13 minutes of this first quarter, it was tight breathing time as the Tigers came out here and had their own kind of fire breathing going on. Collins Cooper to attempt the extra point, trying to cut it to 7, and he got it. So with 2:14 left in this opening quarter, let's take a timeout. And our new score, the LSU Tigers 14, the Florida Gators 7.
They have everything you can imagine.
Cars and trucks, baby.
And little ones. Red, blue, and green ones. At Jerry Lane Enterprises, they're really cooking up some great deals. Why in the world would you shop anywhere else?
Hi everybody, Jim Hawthorne for Home Satellite Systems. Did you know you can install a dish network system in your home for less than basic cable? Call Home Satellite Systems now and get a dish network system for only $199. Plus, the Dish Network is offering America's Top 40 programming package for only $19.99 per month. So call Home Satellite Systems now at 293-2269 or toll free 1-888-DISH-817 and get the Dish Network today because nothing else compares.
When was the last time you slept on a work of art? Presenting the replica iron bed collection, now on exhibit at the Sleep Shop. Works of art for the bedroom, cast by master craftsmen from mint condition originals, at prices you won't lose any sleep over. The replica iron bed collection at the Sleep Shop. Not all great art hangs in a museum. And remember, when it comes to bedding, one place has it all. The Sleep Shop. We've got the bed of your dreams.
with his 4th rushing touchdown of 1997. And he and the Florida Gators have cut this LSU lead in half, 14-7.
Ron, they got to find a way to close that cushion a little bit on Jack Green because he's too far open.
Yeah, you're right.
Too easy throws.
To cushion him is one thing, but that thing is gigantic. And like on the one play that he took to the 5-yard line to gain 12 just before they scored, nobody was within 10 yards of it. Green has 4 catches, 56 yards. Stevenson kicks it off, kicking with the wind, and Falk's going to return it from 3 yards deep. And Falk will be bumped out of bounds at around the 23. On a nice-looking scoring drive by Florida, 13 plays, 80 yards, 5 minutes and 23 seconds, and Taylor scores it on the 2-yard run.
Ron, it'll be interesting now what Florida does defensively. They've been hurt by the trap up inside, the one-back set, and the option. So now I think you'll see them maybe crowd the line a little bit more, get some more defensive backs involved in this run, especially to the tight inside.
Bobby Stoops, one of the nicknames, seems to be favored down in the Gainesville area. Stoops Troops talking about this defense. But they got a little shocker in this opening quarter, giving up 14. Pass thrown complete. Got it out to Frazier. Close to the first down, and wow. Fred Weary not only made the tackle, but took his headgear off.
The difference in this ball game so far has been the play of Herb Tyler. Now, he has come out here and played exactly like we thought he could play. You talked about the Auburn game, and Morris Watts said he got caught up in the comparison with Damian Craig and just didn't perform well that night. But tonight, he has come out of the gate strong with this little quick pass on the move to the left.
As I mentioned, Mike, he told me yesterday, he said it was my fault. I was way too tight, way higher than I should have been. As this running play by Falk is going to be close to the first down, but I don't think he made it. Reggie McGrew is down at the bottom of the stack. And let's check in once again with Adrian Karsten.
Guys, the period on that is when he comes over to the bench, what he is doing that he did not do when we were here for Auburn 3 weeks ago, he's spending a lot of time around his teammates. I saw him in the first couple of series against Auburn. He'd come to the end of the bench and spend some solitary time. He's spending time around his teammates. I think they're helping him stay within his group.
Well, the other thing that the offensive coaches said they would do, Adrian, they were going to start him off in his comfort zone tonight. Some passes that he likes to throw. But obviously, he's been very comfortable. He's off to an outstanding start. On the pitch, Falk going to have the first down at the 35. Elijah Williams up in that cornerback spot.
Well, Kevin Falk, Ron, showing you tonight without Cecil the Diesel Collins. Of course, Kevin Falk at the beginning of the year was the big play running back for LSU, recruited by Notre Dame, Florida State. He was the first player Jerry DiNardo visited when he got the job.
Look at, he's 61 yards ahead of what he did last year.
He had 26 yards last year. The team had 28 yards.
Well, he was another one that we visited with yesterday, along with Tyler, and he said he sat in the locker room just in disbelief after last year's game as the sack coming off Chester, and Tyler goes down, and it's going to be a second down and long situation, and again, I don't think this is the position you want to find yourself in against this Florida defense.
No, but Johnny Rutledge, number 58, made a big play on that. He was on Kevin Falk, and that's why Herb Tyler couldn't throw the football to him.
That is the end of the first quarter. So let's take a timeout. The LSU Tigers, 14, and the top-ranked Florida Gators, 7. We'll be back with more from Baton Rouge after we pause for these messages.
The 97s are almost gone at All-Star Ford, Lincoln Mercury, and Gonzales, but there's still time to save as the 98s arrive. This 97 Ford Ranger XLT with all this is now only $10,555. The luxurious 97 Grand Marquis GS is now just $18,888, but hurry!
Louisiana's All-Star team in Gonzales has a Ford or Lincoln Mercury for you.
Get the best in price, service, and selection with the All-Star team.
You're number one with the All-Star team.
Wherever there is a heart of a champion, there must be something to help it prevail. Wherever there is a burning desire to excel, there must be someone to count on to help make it happen. The hearts of champions are many on the courts and playgrounds of Baton Rouge, and Red State Stick Sports proudly fills the needs of these champions on the courts and fields of dreams come true. You supply the heart. We'll supply with what else you need to succeed. Red Stick Sports.
On the other side of the sky, you see...
I want a diamond that looks just like that star.
Anything for you, babe.
Oh, really? Well, then I want that one, and that one.
At Wilson Fine Jewelers, you'll not only find the finest diamonds at the best prices.
Look at that big one right there.
You'll also find a lot more to choose from.
I want that one, that one, that one in a cluster with a big one in the middle.
Big one in the middle.
Wilson Fine Jewelers.
That's a nice one.
The finest diamonds and more of them.
Thank you.
Well, it's a great look at the capacity house here at Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. 14-7 our score at the end of the first 15 minutes. And, Mike, only this place can be like Baton Rouge, Tiger Stadium on a Saturday night. It's gorgeous tonight, not a cloud in the sky. Actually, very mild temperatures, and they've had a lot to cheer about. Shovel pass. Falk, great defensive play by Coens. Right there to stop it just as the ball was pitched. And Falk is going to go down for a loss.
And what you don't want here, Morris Watts, the offensive coordinator, you do not want to put Herb Tyler in a bad situation here. This is Morris right here. He's calling the offensive plays next to Carl Reese, who's calling the defensive plays. But this Florida defense has been very turnover conscious. You don't want to give them the ball inside this 50-yard line.
Third down. Line to make. LSU needs to take it out to their own 44. You see the pressure from everywhere. Going to go on top. And in and out of the hands of his receiver, Tyrone Frazier. But boy, it was tough looking back over the shoulders, but he might should have caught that one, Mike.
You got to make that catch, O'Ron, because that's the kind of catch that's going to separate you from the #1 team in the country. Fade route, working on Elijah Williams, the former tailback for Florida. He's got to make that catch.
Wow.
That was well thrown ball by Herb Tyler.
Kessler leads the nation. 51.6, and he's kicking with the wind. So Green may even have to back up from where he is. Line drive, and yep, Green is retreating. All the way back to the 18-yard line. Makes one miss. Two, still on his feet. It almost came out of the pile, and it looks as though Smith caught him from behind on the special team. Well, can't get enough college football on Saturdays. We'll check out the ESPN game plan on pay-per-view. $11.95 gets you up to 10 extra games, which aren't normally available in your areas. So call your local cable operator or DirecTV and ask for the ESPN game plan. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten coming to you from Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. Opening moments of the second quarter. Doug Johnson from the shotgun throws his pass, has the first down, and it's Green. Jaquez Green with a falling catch. And Mike, I'd like to get you to comment on Johnson. Everybody expects him to step right in and take over for Werfel. This is only his 6th ball game, but boy, he has a lot of poise.
Boy, he really does, Ron, but it goes back to this baseball, playing in the minor leagues, and I went down 2 years or a year ago and watched him practice in August, and you could tell he's going to be a great quarterback. Everybody thinks Danny Werfel's out of there. They'll slip a little bit. There's no slippage with this guy.
First down, the ball just across the LSU midfield stripe. All of a sudden, momentum is shifting back over toward the Florida Gators, it feels like. As Taylor hit at the line of scrimmage, and he gains a couple. And let's check in with Mike Tirico. Mike?
Well, Ron, Randy Moss is at it again. The Marshall wide receiver, 2 touchdown catches already against Akron. So here are the numbers. 16 touchdowns in 6 games. Marshall leads by 14.
He's been like a man among boys, hasn't he, Mike?
Yeah, I heard a lot of people say he's the best receiver in the country. I'm not sure about that. I know he's a good one, but Jaquez Green, we've seen some other great receivers this year.
Short drop this time, quick out pass, that's McGriff. And he will have the first down and pushed out of bounds just short of the 35 by Cummins. By the way, for those of you also who are just coming in, joining the game and saying, why is Florida wearing blue? LSU LSU requested that they wear white. So here's the situation. Next year, when LSU goes to Gainesville to play the game, if Steve Spurrier wants, he can ask them to wear their purple jersey. And LSU would comply with that.
Knowing Steve, he may wear practice jerseys.
3 wide receivers to the right, to the bottom of your screen. First down at 10 as Florida continues to move. Johnson, throwback pass, has it to his tight end, and LeBlanc will make the stop on Terrace Ross. He's a senior out of Dade City, 6'2", 234.
Doug Johnson comes into this ball game throwing 20 touchdown passes in 5 games, and Steve Spurrier, when he talked to us about him the other day, said he's a natural thrower. But that goes back to, again, I always like quarterbacks who are pitchers in baseball because they're always working control. He plays a little third base and pitched in the past, so I think that helped him with his control in football.
Second down, line to make is the 26. Quick pass this side, Green can't hold on. Loses the football as Cedric Donaldson, who already has a 68-yard interception return in this ball game, had the cover. I got to tell you what Cedric said yesterday. I said, Cedric, covering a guy like Green, are you a little intimidated? And he said, yeah, but I'll never let him know it. He said, I'm out of junior college. And I said, what will you say to him? And he said, I'll say to him, hey, you got the big name. I'm from junior college. I'm nothing. Show me what you got.
I don't know if I'd do that too early in the ball game, though. I think I'd wait a little while.
Show me what you got. That's what he said he would say.
John Kessel's showing him, too.
Johnson's pass almost to Green. A little too tall, and the defensive back had gambled.
Well, you were just talking about Cedric Donaldson, and I think he lost the football a little bit.
He did, Mike, because if Green comes down with that one, he turns and walks into the end zone.
See the break by Cedric Donaldson, but I think he just lost the football.
So now with his 4th down, no movement on the sideline, and the Florida Gators and LSU is caught on their substitution.
They're going to have to use a timeout.
Yep, they're going to call a timeout because they couldn't get the bandit package on the field, and they'll burn one here. So let's take a break. 11:56 left until halftime. Tigers by 7.
The latest in home health technology, just a phone call away. Get two-way communication 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Olston Health Services introduces HealthWatch. If you have a health concern or recuperating from major surgery, HealthWatch is there. HealthWatch is designed for the elderly, young families, latchkey children, anyone who needs a true companion. Activate HealthWatch from the personal transmitter or the help console. A trained operator will be online to help you. HealthWatch, real people, real help, real security. Call today.
This is the Woodfin Pontiac sale you've been waiting for.
The year's lowest closeout prices on all 97 Pontiacs in stock at Woodfin, including demos.
Like $18,995 for a 97 transport van loaded with power windows, built-in child seat, and more.
Only $18,995.
Wow.
Woodfin's got a great selection of 98s, too. See the 98 Grand Prix and restyled 98 Firebirds this week at Woodfin.
And get a year-end closeout deal on 97.
At Woodfin Pontiac.
Wood dealer
is brought to you by the legendary Firebird Trans Am from Pontiac. Welcome back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Mike, let's talk about this decision of not going for the field goal.
I think that Steve Spurrier feels his defense now has control of LSU's offense, so when he's got Jaquez Green open for 10-yard throws, let's see if he goes to him on the curl route. But I think it's a good call here by Steve Spurrier no matter what happens.
Cooper 2 of 3 in field goals, and now Florida wants a timeout. Doug Johnson turns around and says, nope, let's take a timeout. So we'll take another one with him. We'll pay a lot of bills here. 11:56 left until halftime. Check right. We'll be right back.
It's Trucktoberfest at LeBlanc Nissan. Truck on down and get a new Nissan truck for $69.77. $69.77 for a new Nissan truck. $69.77 trucks and more at Trucktoberfest. Only at LeBlanc Nissan. Today.
Simpson Service Center, your downtown Goodyear car care center, is fully staffed with ASE certified master technicians. From a simple oil change to a major overhaul, the technicians at Simpson Service Center are always ready to make your car run like new. Simpson Service Center, your downtown Goodyear dealer, is offering big savings on Goodyear's Regatta, Eagle GA, and Wrangler Aquatread tires. Visit Simpson Service Center, otherwise known as Chet's Place, located at 1225 North Boulevard.
We're the store of the sports and outdoors academy. The right stuff, the right price.
Where are you going for your next pair of athletic shoes? If you say Academy, then you know. Academy has the hot brands, the hip styles. Name it, we got it. Nike, Adidas, Reebok. Had enough? How about Converse, Fila, New Balance? The coolest selection of the shoes you want at the right price at Academy.
The right stuff, the right price. Academy.
The 98s are here, so come test drive the all-new Toyota Avalon, the #1 selling Toyota Camry, the redesigned Toyota Corolla, or the all-new Sienna van. For great deals every day, price low on Toyota. Darling.
So LSU leads at 14-7. And for the third straight year now, Burger King will recognize outstanding student athletes through the $1 million Burger King College Football Scholarship Program. Tonight, Burger King students of the game are from Florida junior fullback Terry Jackson. He enjoys a 3.7 grade point average. And from LSU, the nation's leading punter Chad Kessler, a senior with a 3.91 in microbiology. Fourth down. They need the 25-yard line to hold on to the football. Blitz is on, and Jackson is sacked. Troy Twilley, way back. Where are they going to mark it? At the 47-yard line. Pick up the 48-yard line of LSU.
And we talked about differences. Danny Werfel probably, with his experience, would have picked up that blitz and thrown the ball away. Doug Johnson has to learn that. Troy Twilley's going to come from the top side. He's lined up on Kareem, number 8. Doug Johnson does not see him. Now turns into a big play for LSU with field position.
And you could see Twilley just left his man that he was head up on at the line of scrimmage. It was a good disguise, and the receiver didn't turn to a hot route.
Without a doubt.
The fullback is loose. That's Banks all the way down to the 35-yard line. Elijah Williams makes the stop, but it's a gain of 16.
Well, Adrian Carson's going to get a better view down on the field, but it looks like, again, they're trapping with Alan Faneca coming up on the middle linebacker. Center's blocking back. Here's the trap by Faneca on the middle backer, Dwayne Thomas, and that play has worked about 3 times against this Florida defense.
Huge chunk of change there, 16 yards by Tommy Banks, the freshman. This time it's Falk, right at the middle, has a big opening, one man, and he makes the stop as Tino Brown, and the ball is down at the 23. That's a gain of 14 yards.
Ron, Kevin Falk looks a lot quicker to me tonight than in past games that we've seen him play. He is shot out of the gun on the snap of the football.
Mike, something you might explain as we look at this play. They talk about running quicker plays on the handoffs. In other words, moving from 3 technique to 1, which is, you could explain it, a little bit quicker to get slow plays don't work against Florida. Banks, this time maybe 1 as Rutledge makes the stop.
Okay, Ron, talking about what you're talking about, what it looks like they're doing tonight is, rather than stringing the ball out to the tackle or the tight end, they are hitting everything quick up over the center and guard. And right there, Alan Faneca, number 66, is the man they've chosen to try to run behind tonight. So everything's quick so that Florida can't get any penetration in the backfield.
That's what Morris Watts, the offensive coordinator, said. He said, if you want to have a play eaten alive, just run a slow developing play against Florida. Fade route, near sideline, it is caught out of bounds. Larry Foster was there, but clearly his foot came down as the cover by Fred Wary.
What happens when you run the ball successfully? Banks up on the trap. Kevin Falk running the zone play. All of a sudden now you get Fred Wary, number 24, on the outside where he's got to play against a pretty good receiver, Larry Foster. Now they work against some great receivers in practice, but Larry Foster Baxter is just like the Florida receivers. He's that talented.
Yeah, he really is. Larry, a sophomore out of Harvey, 5'10", 190 pounds. Third down. Line to make is the 14. And they go with the running play, and Falk is tripped up, and holding on for dear life was Willie Rogers, the senior out of Miami. Adrian Carson, what do you have for it?
Ron, really what I have is the combination of what you and Coach are talking about, because they do so well inside with that run, particularly in the person of Faneca. This is when the size difference really takes over. Yes, the speed of Florida is important. Then they throw the pass, but he really is an All-American candidate here and doing an All-American job.
All right, Adrian, the field goal attempt. Wade Ritchie. This is going to be a 39-yard attempt. Low pass from center. Great job of handling, and it's wide left and no good. And boy, that snap from center, Michael, could come back to play a big part in this football game.
Too low, just was not able to get it down.
So Ritchie unsuccessful on the attempt. He had plenty of distance, but he hooked it. But that is a very difficult situation. Here it comes right here. Tabor.
He got it down, though, Ron, but you know what? I think what happened on that, when the ball came, it messed up the timing of the kicker. It looks like he stepped a little bit too early.
Johnson on first down. Got his tight end in the flat. That's Aaron Kinney. And Kinney will be stopped at the 27. Mike Tirico, what do you got for us?
Ron, Colorado taking on Oklahoma State, and Colorado's kickoff returns, a point of, well, not greatness for the Bucs over the last couple of years. Terrific this year, up tops of the country because of Ben Kelly. The youngster takes it back 93 yards. Remember, he had the big touchdown against Wyoming? This one set up a touchdown, and they lead Oklahoma State by 5.
Interesting ball game. The Cowboys trying to remain perfect. Running play, left guard, Fred Taylor, and then he is out to the 32. Arnold Miller, defensively for the LSU Tigers. This is going to be very close. I don't know if they're going to bring the change or not. It appears they are. You know, Mike, as we're getting this measurement, one of the story on Jerry DiNardo and the fact that this package that they're using tonight, they're calling it the Bandit package, and I mentioned you have to go back to 58, 59, and 60 when Paul Dietzel was the head coach here, the Chinese Bandits. The first team was white team, second was Go, and number 3, the Chinese Bandits. And of course, in those days, you went both ways, and Coach Dietzel said he didn't know of a tougher group than a bunch of Chinese Bandits. What Jerry DiNardo is trying to bring back tonight is to use some of that history and tradition, and he got on the bus yesterday with the book, 100 Years of LSU Football. He's going to read a little more about it. Straight ahead with the quarterback sneak, Johnson. And he will have the first down.
Where that'll pay off, Ron, is late in the ball game.
Here's a picture taken back in 1958. Everybody got those masks, had their uniform on, and posed for the picture. The Chinese Bandits down here were a very, very popular group. Of course, when you're as good as that football team was, everybody was popular. Jerry DiNardo trying to instill that same type of pride in this football team. First and 10, 14-7 our score. LSU on top. Johnson drills it, and incomplete as Travis McGriff had to go in and out of his hands, and there was a marker down.
I think it's holding. It looked like Anthony McFarland, number 94, was going to get to Doug Johnson. He was being held. And it was way back in the backfield.
Now, Anthony is another guy that it was interesting to talk to him yesterday because very realistic. The young man said, hey, we got no excuses. We got them in our place on a Saturday night. We think we're a good football team, so no excuses. If they kick us, then they're the better football team. We got to prove that we're worthy of playing with them. You should see the hold on it.
And he's an outstanding defensive lineman. I've said this so many times. Gil Brandt, the Dallas Cowboys, former personnel director, watched him play as a freshman. He said he's a guy, he's a great leverage player, and he'll play on the next level.
Boy, this penalty pushed it all the way back to just around the 20-yard line. Screen right over the middle and knocked down, and that was dangerously close to being picked off by LeBlanc as he knocked it down.
Yeah, they brought Clarence LeBlanc, number 18, on a blitz. And they had the middle screen called. Doug Johnson's going to try to set the screen up, but he just doesn't have time to get it off to Fred Taylor. Yeah, this front four of LSU is doing a job on this Florida offensive line. They are getting a surge.
10 of 17, one interception, 102 yards for Johnson tonight. Short drop, got his pass right over the middle. That's Richardson, and he will have it to the 33-yard line. So it's going to be a third down and around 10 for the first. Steve Spurrier on Tuesday said he has not been pleased with the inconsistency of the offensive line. That's one of the things he wanted to see improve. They need to take it to the 43.5. Here comes the blitz from the outside. They pick it up. Pass is caught, and that's enough for the first down at the 46-yard line. McGriff didn't let this one get by. It's good for 12 as Cummings made the stop.
Ron, here's what's happening to Florida. They're getting the curl route open, and what's happening is this receiver, McGriff, is going to curl. The inside receiver is going to take and remove the linebacker so that there's a throwing lane on the outside. Travis McGriff goes down, make sure he goes past the stakes for the first down. You can see the underneath coverage is cleared out, and they've had the curl all night.
Clock about to go under 7 minutes left in this opening half. Running play, Taylor takes it across midfield. Clarence LeBlanc is there to make the stop.
It's interesting when you pressure Steve Spurrier. We just talked about the front four roaring up the field. His answer to that is the draw play. If you're going to try to hit his quarterback and you're going to try to pressure, you're going to see a ton of draws, and that's what they were successful on that play. They're going to invite you up the field and hand that ball underneath.
LSU 14, Florida 7 if you just joined us. Short drop, back into the boundary, throws it complete, it's McGriff, and it looks as though Travis is going to be just short of the first down. Again, it's Cummings. Cummings makes the tackle.
Well, I liked him, Ron. When I went down there in the fall and watched practice, Travis McGriff's the kind of football player that you'd like to have 22 like him because he gives you great effort all the time.
His dad played there at Florida. 5'8", 173, out of Gainesville. Short drop again, throwing it right back into the boundary. That's Kareem this time. They say keep the clock running, and it is a first down. And Cummins, Mike, you know, you have to wonder, the corners constantly looking at fresh people, and as great athletes as Florida has, you have to get a little fatigue, not only physically but mentally.
To beat Florida, you got to have, number one, 2 really good corners to hold up on the outside, but you need 8 good defensive backs because their tongue's going to be hanging out before the fourth quarter.
No question, no matter what kind of shape you're in. From the shotgun, Johnson going to have to hurry, hit from behind, and he's sacked. That's Kenny Mixon, and it's 4 times that they've gotten to him in this first half.
Well, Kenny Mixon is the NFL type, big and strong defensive end. He was kicked off the squad last year. Jerry DiNardo let him back on, made him jump through a few hoops, but all of a sudden now he's in the best of graces on this LSU football team. But he is a solid pass rusher. Doug Johnson just feels him a little bit, not able to get rid of the ball.
Well, that's certainly a coverage sack. You have to give credit to the secondary. He had no place to go. 4 sacks for -41 against Florida tonight. Johnson's pass zings it, has it complete at the 30-yard line. Not enough for the first down. It's going to be third down, and Mike, they're going to need about 3 as Richardson made the catch.
Run the same route. Again, when Steve Spurrier has something going successfully, he's going to continue to do the same thing. The outside receiver on a curl, inside receiver on a flat. The same thing. He's going to open up the underneath coverage, push downfield. Jamie Richardson open in front of Cedric Donaldson. He's just going to keep going back to the same well.
5 of 7 on third down situations. Here comes the blitz. Fred Taylor right up the middle. Count the first down at the 25 as LeBlanc makes the tackle. And now we're about to go into under 4 minutes left until halftime, and this is just what Steve Spurrier would have drawn up. He would love to burn the clock and go in tied at halftime.
You've got to admire the way he calls plays. He finds something that's going well for him, and he's just going to continue to milk it until LSU tries to take that away.
First down. The ball at the Tiger 25. LSU leads it 14-7. Gators on the move. Pass is tipped and almost a reception incomplete at the 23, and it's Johnny Mitchell, I believe, who got a hand up and tipped the ball.
Well, I tell you what was impressive, though. Taurus Ross, number 88, with the effort that he made. He saw the ball tipped, and he was able to go over to make sure it wasn't intercepted. He's blocking on the left side. Loses his block. Now Ross field, he sees the ball. Now he makes a great effort to go over to try to catch that football.
Second down. Clock says 3:53 until halftime. Swings it out to Taylor. Oh, what a hit for the linebacker, Joe Wesley. Good heavens, he took him head high. Oh, my.
It's the kind of tackle you like, Ron. It's teach form tackling where you just hook up with the defensive man, and that's exactly what he did there.
He may have injured himself.
A little flare pass to Fred Taylor, but you see Joe Wesley just form tackle and run right through Fred Taylor.
And he's being attended to by the trainers. Back to the field of play. Third down. Line to make is to 15, and this is the 15th play of this Florida drive. Blitz off the corner. Pass is incomplete as it's short. Troy Twilley is the man they were bringing on the blitz, and he hurried the play up.
They had it blocked, though, Ron. Doug Johnson just didn't set his feet. They're going to get it blocked. Fred Taylor's going to block Troy Twilley. Now Doug Johnson just doesn't set his feet to get anything under the football.
Field goal attempt coming up by College Cooper. You see the numbers on him as longest as 40, and this attempt right here is going to be 44. It's a career long. And now a timeout.
Only 10 men on the field for LSU, so they want to get a timeout to get another one on.
So let's take a break. LSU 14, Florida 7, 3:06 left until halftime. We'll be right back.
Spot for a new 97 Kia Sophia LS.
Louisiana's All-Star team in Baton Rouge has a Chevrolet or Kia for you.
Get the best in price, service, and selection with the All-Star team.
All-Star, all right.
In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, 14-7. The LSU Bengal Tigers on top. 3:06 left until halftime. And you get a good look at Collins Cooper, the junior out of Jacksonville. And if he hits this one, Mike Gottfried, it'll be a career long, 44.
And Adrian Karsten told me in pre-game that he didn't hit anything past 35 because of the wind. We'll see if he can overcome it here.
And he is kicking into that wind. Crowd coming to their feet. Let's see. Remember, LSU blocked an extra point against Vanderbilt last week. Got another one. Ball is free and is going to be recovered at the 24-yard line. Cummings, I believe, is the man as the celebration goes on. Cummings is the guy who got it.
He was never blocked off of the corner. He just was able to come free, laid out, got a little piece of the kick, and a big block for LSU. You'll see him come off the right side, lay out, just catch it with his hand.
LSU with 2:56 showing on the clock, gets the football back. Johnny Rutledge defensively for the Florida Gators. Both teams with a timeout as the clock runs at 2:43 and now 2:42.
Boy, halftime now, Ron's going to be very important. Steve Spurrier, when he goes into his halftime, Again, it's checkers versus Carl Reese, and then the other side, you got Morris Watts, the offensive coordinator, going against Bobby Stoops. They both feel good about their game plans. They got to make some adjustments now. At halftime, we'll see what they are when we come out second half.
Draw play. Falk breaks it barely. Kearse grabs him to the ankle, and if Chavon doesn't get him, he had a lot more running room.
And Kearse is a very impressive linebacker. 12 tackles going into this game. Strong force on the tight end. Has had a lot of big plays. By their grading, 13.5 big plays.
Everybody talks about how long his arms are and that he reminds them, as far as the long arms, of Ted Hendricks when he was at Miami. But a much bigger body, as you can see. He's like in the 250 range.
And he's a great airport guy, because when you see him getting off that plane, you know they're serious, because he is a good-looking specimen.
Larry Foster to the bottom of the screen as you look at time of possession. And this running play by Falk breaks the tackle, will not get by the second, and that's Kelsey. Keith Kelsey, a sophomore out of Newberry, who stops a big gainer.
Ron, Florida still has one timeout left, too. They're going to get the football back here before half.
And now a timeout is being called, and it's taken by Florida to stop the clock at 1:23. You remember what happened last year in this football game? In fact, on October the 12th, a school record. We got 36 first downs, 2 backs with 100 yards, plus Florida with 635 total yards, and the LSU 28 yards rushing. In fact, we mentioned how the LSU defense got lit up last year after doing a nice job against Florida the year before in '95. And we asked Carl Reese what happened last year.
Going to last year's game, you have confidence in what you've done in the past, and you feel good about your game plan, and all at once it just blows up in your face. And really, I feel good as a coach going into this football game, because, you know, we had all winter and all spring and all fall to basically build some things in your defense that would keep that from happening again.
So far, his game plan has been excellent. 1:23 showing on the clock until halftime. And Mike, I would not kick to Jaquez Green right now. Even if I had to lose 10 yards kicking it out of bounds, I would not give him the opportunity.
No, I agree with you, but he's going to have the wind at his back to get a little bit more on this kick.
Chad Kessler, the leading punter in the nation for the LSU Tigers. Great pass from center, and here's his boot. Line drive, and it's returnable for the 25. And wonderful coverage by the LSU Tigers. Good heavens, Cummings, who has done everything on special team, blocked a kick a moment ago, makes the tackle, 44 yards in the kick and only 2 on the return.
Ron, just to follow up on that Carl Reese story, you know, the year before he held Florida to 320 yards, and then all of a sudden he visited with Nebraska before the bowl game, the Fiesta Bowl game, and shared secrets, not secrets, on the tape with the Nebraska coaches. And Steve Spurrier made it a point. He says, I'm going to take him off that clinic circuit, and he did the year for it. But yeah. I've never seen anything like it, but he's a competitive guy. Both of them are, so he got the best of him last year.
Johnson's pass is caught by Richardson. Out beyond the 40-yard line, and that stops the clock with 1:06. That's how quickly they can burn you. Mike Tirico. Okay, Michael, you got a lot to talk about at halftime. Some huge games today, as this one here tonight. LSU leading 14-7. Gators pass is complete at the 50-yard line, 1 yard short of the first down. Cummins made the tackle on Kareem.
And I think what Steve Spurrier wants now is his offense to move a little bit. They're slow going to the line of scrimmage. He wants them to speed it up.
Well, they throw it into the turf to stop the clock, because Florida has no timeouts left, and it'll stop it with 45 seconds showing up.
And Ron, the other thing is that Steve Spurrier is a guy that wants perfection, and when you can frustrate him a little bit, and Carl Reese has frustrated him in the first half, he does not want to go in that locker room with only 7 points. Now, he wants to milk every second of his clock, but patience is not one of his virtues.
Third down. That's not the important thing. Pitch back. And believe, with a second effort, will have the first down, although it's going to be very close. Chris Beard made the tackle on Fred Taylor. He strung it out and strung it out.
He didn't have it, Ron. It's going to be fourth down.
Clock is at 24, now at 23. 14, down to 13. Johnson sets in the pocket, gets a pass off to the near side, and that will be enough for the first down. Kareem on the catch of the fourth down toss, and now 6 seconds showing on the clock.
And we've talked about that curl route, and Florida has run it successfully, but you know what? They haven't gotten the end zone. What Carl Reese has done this first half is taken away the big play, allowing them those short passes, but not giving up the big pass.
Johnson, last play of the first half, unless there's a penalty, gets his pass away. Kareem makes the catch at the 38, and we are at halftime. And take a look. They are standing. They are cheering here in Baton Rouge for the hometown Tigers. So it's halftime with our score, LSU 14 and Florida 7. Now with the Buick Century halftime report, let's join Mike Tirico.
Mike's Audio, your home electronics specialty store, welcomes football season. With approved credit, pay no money down and no interest for 12 months on all big screen TVs. Save 10% on new DVD, digital video disc player, and save 15% on America's #1 choice in high-quality loudspeakers from Definitive Technology. Mike's Audio is also offering big savings on high-quality Denon AVR 1200 Dolby Pro Logic receivers for only $4.99. Now's the time to visit Mike's Audio, Airline Highway at Cedar Crest.
Duga Pest Control. Our name scares bugs to death.
With over 40 years experience fighting critters at Duga Pest Control, we have all the weapons to round up all your pests. Whether you're out to get termites, roaches, fleas, or vermin, Duga Pest Control will scare your bugs to death.
Duga Pest Control. Our name scares bugs to death.
With most wireless phone services, you can ride around without a care in the world. Until you try to go out of their calling area. That's when it hits you that maybe you should have called Bell South Mobility. It gives you the largest coverage area in the Southeast and lets you call from anywhere in North America. Don't get boxed in. For just $17.95 a month, get 180 bonus minutes, plus an additional 180 minutes when you bring in and activate your own phone. Bell South Mobility. Count on it.
We're at halftime, LSU 14 and the Florida Gators, top ranked in the nation, 7. Off the top of the telecast, Mike Gottfried, we talked about the Florida defense and how influential they have been. Actually, it's been the LSU defense that has really been influential in this ballgame.
Well, the star of the first half might be Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator for LSU, because even though they bent a little bit, they don't break, and they've done a nice job of keeping everything in front of them. Here's a blitz by Troy Twilly that took them out of any kind of field position. Great tackle by linebacker Joe Wesley, and then they blocked a field goal just before the half. So LSU defensively has done quite a job. Even though Florida, Ron, when you look at their time of possession, they've got almost 7 more minutes.
Mike, we were talking at halftime. This second half kickoff is extremely important because of the dangerous return people. But this is what the doctor ordered right there, as Bo Carroll has that thing about 8 yards deep in the end zone and impossible to bring one all the way back. We talked about defensive stalwarts in the first half as Doug Johnson gets last-minute instructions from his head coach. Cummings for LSU had 10 tackles in the first half. 9 of those were solo, and also he had the blocked field goal and 1 pass breakup.
And your man, Cedric Donaldson, also big with the interception, 6 tackles. So LSU defensively did exactly what Carl Reese wanted to do, keep the ball in front of them and make Florida work the field. No big plays.
From the shotgun on first down. Johnson stepping, got in the way. Fred Taylor out of the backfield. He breaks it big. Passes midfield. And a foot race. Finally, he's caught and pushed out of bounds. Down at the 27-yard line of LSU by Mark Roman.
Just an alternate receiver, Ron, came out in the backfield, number 21. He's going to block. Now he just sits down. Now Doug Johnson's going through his progressions. Nothing better to work against Joe Wesley, a linebacker, getting the ball. 53-yard pass reception. Mark Roman finally with a tackle.
Boy, what a way to open the second half of the ball game that you're down. Second time trading at halftime of the last 28 games.
Well, usually the halftime's eating oranges and drinking orange juice, but I bet it wasn't this halftime.
I imagine it was spitting seeds. On first down, drills the pass. That one is too tall for Kareem.
Well, I'll tell you, Ron, there was a missed hold on. That's what the fans are booing about. Mo Collins actually tackled the defensive end of LSU to keep him from getting to Doug Johnson. And no call.
Well, you could hear the boo from the locals here, and that's what they cited. The officials did not. So it is second down. To the 23, Chuck Wiley is there to make the tackle. Let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian.
Ron, this crowd is exactly the reason Steve Spurrier kept those Gators in the locker room as long as he did. And that last play is what they were talking about. They weren't spitting seed, they were spitting tacks. They want to run the ball more and more in the second half because their ability to run the ball keeps LSU out of good defensive sets that would allow them to stop the pass. When they get back into that bandit look, guys, I've got their adjustment on how they're going to stop that curl route.
Okay, Adrian, as you can tell, very loud down at the sideline. 6 of 10 on third down conversion, and Doug Johnson wants a timeout. So we'll take a break. 13:54 to play third quarter. Tigers still lead at 14-7.
Hi, everybody. Jim Hawthorne for Home Satellite Systems. Did you know you can install a Dish Network system in your home for less than basic cable? Call Home Satellite Systems now and get a Dish Network system for only $199. Plus, the Dish Network is offering America's Top 40 programming package for only $19.99 per month. So call Home Satellite Systems now at 293-2269 or toll free 1-888-DISH-817 and get the Dish Network today because nothing else compares.
At Jerry Lane Buick GMC, they have everything you could imagine, and it's all very healthy. The prices are great, and the selections are second to none.
Oh, I just love every part of it. I love the interior. I love the ride. It's just wonderful.
I love my Jerry Lane Suburban. I tell everybody about it. I think it's great.
Oh, yeah, what a good deal I got at Jerry Lane.
Roger, sir. Can I have your next position answer one earlier? That's 13 north, 180 east. Roger. Stand by your post. We'll call you back. 66 on 34. Delta 1566. Give me a call on your primary 5574.
Versus LSU is brought to you by AXA and Equitable, a global powerhouse, a trusted friend, a formula for success. Now the Florida cheerleaders up here from Gainesville trying to encourage their team.
behind him. But they're going to catch LSU being offside.
Sure are.
Looked like Troy Twilley.
Jumped just a little too quickly. It's not enough for the first down, but it'll be a third down and very short. Twilley was trying to guess on the snap count.
Yeah, and you can't guess. You've got to look into the football. When the football moves, you move. You can't move. See, he's guessing with Doug Johnson, and he lost the guessing game.
Mike, that is the first penalty against LSU tonight.
Give him another shot, too, Ron. It's bigger than 5 yards.
So Twilley comes to the bench.
And if you're Steve Spurrier, you're going to take 2 downs to get this.
Green and Richardson, top of the screen, but they go with the running play. This is Taylor, turns it inside the 15, and it's 1st and 10, Florida at the 12. Rayon Hill on the stop.
Well, Adrian talked about Florida wanting to run the ball a little bit more here in the second half. The adjustment that they wanted to try to take advantage of the pass rush of LSU. So they come out and have had success with the toss sweep and running the zone play.
That running play, Taylor maybe has one, and that's it. Chuck Wiley down at the bottom of that pile. Also Anthony McFarland.
That does, Ron, and that puts the ball back in the middle of the field, now to give you both sides with some room to throw this football. And you got to figure Jacquez Green, number 5, is going to be in this action somewhere. Such a key receiver.
Second down, they need to take it to the 2 for the first. Play clock at 3. They get it off. Johnson got a man at the 1-yard line, and that is Nafis Kareem. It'll be 1st and goal, Florida Gators, I believe, from where they've spotted him.
Nafis Kareem made this play, Ron. He checked off to a hitch. And sometimes the opponents have your check-offs, and it looked like they had the check-off to the hitch, but you're going to see Kareem, number 8, after the pump. Now, he just moves. He moves to the open area and catches the football at the 1-yard line in front of Mark Roman.
6 catches for him for 59 yards, and he just hobbled off the field. And the training staff looks him over as Fred Taylor takes it into the end zone, and we're 1 point away from a tie ball game. And credit Rod Frazier, the fullback, with a great block.
And you also need to credit Chester Blackshear, number 77, who pulled out of his guard position and led that play around the corner. A big way to answer the halftime. There's the adjustments. Come out, run the ball a little bit more. Of course, the penalty with LSU, Troy Twilley, gave him another shot on 3rd down.
Collins Cooper trying to knock this ball game at 14 apiece. He's got it. Shows us a break in the action. 12-17 left in the 3rd quarter. Number 1 Florida, 14. Number 14 ranked LSU, 14. We'll be right back.
Same old story every month. Write the checks, lick the stamps, pay the bills.
Online banking from Campus Federal Credit Union is changing all that. Now with the click of a mouse, you can pay your bills, apply for loans, transfer funds, or even open a new account. So if you're looking to free yourself from the same old financial routines, put your money where your mouse is with online banking from Campus Federal Credit Union.
Have you had problems with a cracking, leaking roof? Metal Mart, the Southwest leader in panelized residential steel roofing, has an alternative. Energy-efficient steel roofing is exceptionally durable and protects against damages caused by water, wind, storms, and hail. Installation can be done over existing roofs, saving you disposal costs. A wide selection of colors are available, and you receive Metal Mart's 25-year triple protection assurance plan. For your contract referrals and estimates, call Metal Mart, the experts in panelized steel roofing.
All day, every day, Coleman Toyota's making Louisiana life a little easier with everyday low prices on 98 Toyotas. Tacomas, Corollas, Camrys with everyday Toyota quality. 4Runners, T100s, RAV4s, Avalons with everyday Toyota dependability. Premier shipments, premier pricing. Coleman Toyota, your Toyota value leader every day.
Texas Ranger, tonight at 11:05, only on Channel 2.
Well, we're tied at 14 as you look at Rayon Hill, and they're attending to his leg almost as though he's having problems with either Charlie horse or with cramps. But it's a cool night. I'd be surprised to cramp. Would you, Mike, this early?
Ron, the way to play Florida is exactly what LSU's done. They've had 55 total plays and only 4 over 15 yards. At halftime, they only had 3. They come out in the second half, get that pass to Fred Taylor for 53 yards, and you can't allow big plays. But they're frustrating Florida a little bit.
You can see Kevin Falk, one of the deep men, and this is returnable. It's Falk from the 7. Returned back toward the LSU bench. Crosses the 20, 25, and he's bumped out of bounds hard at around the 28. Dwayne Thomas on the special teams makes the stop.
And here's the play, Ron, go back to the first half.
He's shaken up, Mike.
Talking about the 53-yard pass play to Fred Taylor. And this is the longest play they've had. Except for this play, LSU's been able to keep the Florida offense bottled up.
Well, we'll get a report as soon as we can of Kevin Falk. Neely in the ball game, number 7. The pass thrown complete out to the 40-yard line. It's Tyrone Frazier. You have to say one thing about young Herb Tyler, and I say young Herb Tyler. The Auburn game, he had just a horrible first quarter, came back and played well. He got off the mark early tonight, and he has played with consistency.
He's done everything right. Even the one long ball he threw should have been caught, but Fred Weary was right on Frazier there on that play, and he just drilled the ball right in there.
There's Falk, and you can see a little grimace, but I think it'll take more than that grimace to keep him out of the lineup here in the second half. The pitch to Neely. Hit at the line of scrimmage. That's George. Tony George, who had that huge pickoff and returned for a touchdown against Tennessee, came up and stuffed that one.
Well, you talked about this morning on the cut-in that we did early. When you miss a Cecil Collins, now remember, the Diesel's not here tonight. Here's where you miss him. When you start to get into the second half, you wear down defenses. You got fresh running backs, but now all of a sudden, Falk and Neely's had to do all the carrying. There's no Diesel here, so you don't have the fresh backs in the second half.
Frazier in motion, top of the screen. Sets the throw, good pressure from that right side. Got him open. Complete inside the 35 to Larry Foster. And Willie Rogers was all over the play, and because of the mobility of Herb Tyler, he avoided it.
You can't throw the ball any better. You can't play the quarterback position any better than Herb Tyler's playing it tonight. Stands in the pocket. Steps up. You talked about the rush. Now he's going to find Larry Foster against Tony George and lays the ball in there perfectly.
Tyler calls the signals as they move back into the student section of the stadium, and it's very noisy even for LSU to hear. Falk back in the lineup, so obviously that stinger a moment ago, not too bad, but they go with the fullback, and it's Banks, who broke a big one and scored a touchdown in the first half, and he will take this one inside the 25. Banks is a youngster that they think will be a quality running back and really one that will earn high marks here. He's only a freshman.
And they've struck on some things against this Florida defense tonight. Quick running plays. Auburn's got them next week. They're trapping them up inside. People will look at this tape and try to do some of the same things against this Florida defense.
Second down and 4. Back into the boundary. Falk gets by one. Will not get by the second tackler. But it's Mike Peterson for that strong linebacking spot. The junior out of Alachua. Boy, he put him down solidly.
You know what we haven't seen since the early in the first quarter? The option play. It's a third down play, a key third down play here. Maybe Morris Watts, who's done an excellent job calling plays tonight, might think about going back to this option play. Let's see what they call here. The big third down play for LSU.
Third down. Line to make is the 21. Frazier in motion, straight drop to throw. Looking for the end zone, he's going to be sacked. 55, Woody Collins is there to get him. It's his second sack, and a flag has just come down. That may be face masking, Mike Godfrey.
See the pressure here? Now, Willie Cohen's number 55, and I believe they're going to call him for the face masking.
It is a first down, LSU. The ball has been spotted at the 20-yard line. If you just joined us, LSU just vaulted out in front of this ball game, 14-0. Florida has worked its way back. They've scored here in the third. And right now, the Tigers driving again. About to go into 9 minutes to play third quarter. Runs into his blocker, Banks, and Tony George will get the credit for the tackle. Also, Kirsch was coming over.
They got the safety up, sitting so far up on first down, figuring it's going to be a run. Tony George was not blocked and made that tackle, but again, can't talk about the effort, say enough about the effort of the offensive line for LSU tonight. They have done a good job neutralizing the best defense in the SEC.
Well, LSU has rushed in this ballgame already for 127 yards. Short drop to throw. Looks for the end zone. Picked in the air and knocked away. Foster, the intended receiver, Fred Weary, was there to help knock it away.
Fred Weary, second in the nation with 5 interceptions. He's had 145 career tackles, and usually he's to the wide side of the field, so he's going to get the most area to cover. Does a nice job breaking in front of that football with Larry Foster.
Stops the clock, 8 minutes, 20 to play, third quarter. It is third down. LSU needs to take it to the 10-yard line of Florida. Eighth play of the drive. Foster in motion. Tyler in trouble, gonna be sacked. What a huge time for Ed Chester to come through and make the tackle, and they knock him down for a huge loss. So that's officially the second sack. The penalty wiped out the last one because of the face mask. And they'll have to go for the three-pointer.
And that extra 7-8 yards just moves your field goal kicker back a little bit further. But Ed Chester, the most valuable player on the Florida defense last year, big play.
Ritchie, 44-yard attempt. Good pass this time, partially blocked. I believe, is it Fred Weary?
I think Elijah Williams may have got it.
One of those two corners is the congratulations on the sideline, and it may have been Elijah. We'll double-check it.
Elijah Williams, a former running back, was the leading rusher 2 years ago. Steve Spurrier asking him to move to defense.
So it is going to be officially Elijah Williams who gets the block. What this young man has done is incredible, to move from offense back over to defense, where he played some in high school, and he's done an outstanding job. As Johnson set to the pocket, going to go on top on first down, looking for Green, and it's incomplete. Florida asking for pass interference, and there will be none called. Let's check in once again with Mike Tirico. Mike?
Ron, UCLA was down 11 at Oregon, but they have come back. Watch the great play-action fake by Cade McNown. 40 yards to Jim McElroy. UCLA late third, leading by 3. Ron and Mike.
Right. Speaking of a team that loves to go up on top, if you look at Bobby Stoops on the sideline talking it over with his defense, and I'm sure still asking questions as far as what is LSU, what are they doing? Shotgun off the corner. Here comes the blitz. They throw the screen. It's tipped and it's caught. That's Taylor who reached up and grabbed it. Boy, that thing could have been picked off by LSU.
They've hit that twice, and both times it was almost picked off. Fred Taylor, 21, makes a big play.
Sutton is the man who almost came up with an even bigger play.
And Mike Sutton is the guy that they say is the best pass rusher. Bringing Chris Cummings to corner. They got a good play called against it, but a good spy technique by Mike Sutton.
There you see the tip. Third down. They need to take the ball to the 37-yard line. Dick Donaldson on the stop.
Ron, that's the same thing that Steve Spurrier had in the first half. He had the curl route. Comes right back and throw. Let's see if he comes right back with it the next couple plays. When things go well for him, he likes to repeat the same play.
Let's check in with Adrian real quick. Adrian?
As they come to the line, Ron, what they're trying to do in that play is to get a robber to help out. Mike can explain that, but they're trying now, Florida is to run that to both sides and really foul up their defense.
Here they go with Green and the quick handoff. Back turns the corner, crosses the 45, and Mark Roman will punch him out at the 49. Not literally, but will knock him out of bounds at the 49.
Carl Reese said about Jacquez Green, he says the best receiver we've seen this year. He was an option quarterback in high school. Didn't know when he came to Florida whether he could run those routes like the Florida receivers, but he has been a quick learner.
To show you how everybody has to play everything in that system, in 1995, Jacquez Green had 2 punt blocks on special teams. Taylor bounces it outside. Cobb puts a head down and goes out of bounds over Chris Cummings. And let's see where they're going to spot him out. Looks like around the 42.
That Fred Taylor has been the difference in the second half. Made that catch, that pass for 53 yards, and he has ran the football stronger in the second half. Adrian talked about talking to Steve Spurrier, wanted to come out and establish the run a little bit more. 67 yards and 2 touchdowns for Fred Taylor. But they seem to be controlling the line of scrimmage a little bit better, running the football.
Well, he's run for over 100 yards in the first 5 games, and tonight we'll check his numbers to see what he has. Gonna go on top. Down there, incomplete. McGriff in the end zone, and they say Cummins covering on the play, and it's incomplete.
You made a point early. Now, Chris Cummins made it. Look at his jersey. Now, he's sweating. Now, his tongue is hanging out. They run him down the field. He doesn't get a break. They run a bunch of different receivers at him, and it sometimes takes its toll late in the ball game. But he's able to run right with Travis McGriff here. He gets his hand in there and knocks the football out.
Fred Taylor, by the way, 17 carries, 67 yards. Here comes a corner blitz again. Pass on the mark. Richardson steps out of bounds, just short of the first down at the 32.
Making Florida's offense work the field again. They'll give them the 10-yard pass. Look at this passing chart. All the underneath throws that they're given, and then look here deep. Not giving them the big play. They will not allow them the big play tonight. And that's been the difference, except for the play to Fred Taylor to pass out of the backfield. That's what's kept LSU in this ballgame.
Mike, further substantiating what we're talking about as far as the duress that the LSU corners are under. When you look at all the different receivers, Green has caught 6 for 77. Kareem has caught 6 for 59. Richardson, that was his 4th catch for 48. And McGriff has caught 3 passes for 27.
They just keep sending them at you.
Taylor inside the 15, and he's down to the 14. Smith and Roman combined on the stop. And right now, just what we're talking about, LSU for the first time tonight appears a little bit tired.
Well, they're tired because they're chasing after the passer the entire first half. Now, Steve Spurrier shifted gears. Little counter play right here where you pitch the ball to Fred Taylor. He starts to the right and counters back to the left. And he looks like he is just getting started in this ballgame.
Yeah, just lathered. You're right. Here comes that corner blitz again. Taylor runs into his own blocker. Chuck Wiley is there to help seal the play as well, along with McFarland. And it's maybe a gain of a half, and that's it.
And you see the LSU defensive linemen, they're slow getting off the ground.
Mike.
You chase a quarterback the entire ball game, and then all of a sudden they change the reel on you a little bit and run at you. It gets very tiresome.
Look where Jerry is. And a minute ago, Steve's going to raise Kane about being told to go back beyond that restraining
You got to remember where you're at.
Pressure's on Johnson. He's sacked. Loses the ball. He has lost the football, and let's see if they counted a fumble because it was recovered by Miller.
Joe Wesley again on the blitz. Doug Johnson couldn't get rid of the ball. I was saying you got to remember where you're at. The home field, you're always get a little bit of a break. Joe Wesley didn't miss block by the running back.
That's a fumble.
Yes, it is.
I'm sorry. His knee was not on the ground. It's 5 sacks. It was coming loose before his knee goes down right there.
I'm going to have to correct Joe. It's not a fumble in this ball game.
Well, I thought I had to remember where I was. Third down. Line to make is the 4. Deep pass over the middle, and it is picked off by LSU. Mark Roman brings it back to the 5.
Good block by Fred Taylor. He steps up and gets the blitzing linebacker. Trying to hit Aaron Kinney, the tight end, but here's the interception. Now the job LSU has to do, they've got to get out of this 5-yard line. Backed up here against this Florida defense.
And for Florida, this is like a deep hunt. They would like to have had the points, but LSU's got to go a long way as they go straight ahead with the running play. You know, one of the things also, last Tuesday when I was down in Gainesville and visiting with Coach Spurrier, he said, you know, we have been fortunate. He said none of our mistakes have really blown up in our face this year. Well, tonight it's come a little bit closer with the 2 interceptions, the 1 long return. It cost them a touchdown. What could have been a fumble out closer to midfield just a moment ago, and now it's an interception. So, you know, he says we have been a fortunate football team.
Very fortunate they didn't lose that fumble because they still have field position on their side. If they can stop LSU here.
Yeah, they can stop them here, and it's a very big third down. And you can bet Morris Watts is not going to do anything silly to put the defense in jeopardy.
No, but he needs a first down, though. You can't play conservative and win this football game. And Morris Watts knows what his quarterback, Herb Tyler, can do. He wants to pick this first down up because you do not want to punt the football to Florida and have them have this good field position.
Frazier checks into the lineup. He comes out to the left, bottom of your screen. Third down conversions, 1 of 4.
Here's Larry Foster, the inside receiver at the top. His best receiver.
Play clock at 2 and 1. Barely got it off. And
I think Larry Foster might have got a timeout. He may have called timeout and saved this play.
There's no play. It is third down. Timeout. LSU.
That's exactly what happened, so we'll take it with them. LSU 14, Florida 14 at the 2:41 mark of the third quarter. There's your timeout. We'll be right back.
All-Star Chevrolet's 97 sell-down continues, and there are less than 100 1997s left. Take $4,000 off all new 97 Chevy extended cab pickups. Save $8,000 off the remaining conversions, and get a new 97 Cavalier for only $209 a month.
Louisiana's All-Star team in Baton Rouge has a Chevrolet or Kia for you.
Get the best in price, service, and selection with the All-Star team.
Your team, the All-Star team.
As an employee-owned company, every day we are requiring ownership in a K-10 ambulance.
And every day we work harder to make the service even better.
We all try to do more than the job requires.
Because it's our company and our community.
And we want to give our best to both.
We're grateful for the opportunity to serve.
And for the acceptance the people we serve have given us.
Teaching community services is a big part of our business. We appreciate you entrusting your family to ours.
College football next Saturday on ESPN. Game day at 11:30 Eastern with Chris Lee and Kirk. That's followed by our Big Ten game, Iowa in Ann Arbor to face Michigan. Then at primetime, be sure and join Mike, Adrian, and me down at Birmingham, Alabama, as the 10th-ranked Volunteers take on the Crimson Tide and the Iron Bowl. Always fun for Birmingham. Here's the situation. It is 3rd down. LSU needs the 15-yard line to keep this drive going. We're tied at 14. Well, he ran the last one, going to run. Gets his pass away, and there's your first down. Out at the 25-yard line is Abram Booty. Tony George was coming with a blitz.
Well, remember the timeout call by Larry Foster because they were going to run the football. Right. They would not have made the first down. Now they come back out with more time. Herb Tyler steps up in the pocket, hits Abram Booty on the curl route. First down, Elijah Williams on the tackle.
Again, the athletic ability of Tyler buys him more time, and they pick up the first, allowing the defense to get a little bit more breather on the bench. Tyler set, going to go on top. Has his man, it's Booty, and he's free. Elijah Williams will push him out of bounds. Suspended because of missing a meeting.
Well, he was the #1 receiver in the state last year. Came enrolled here in January. A gamble by Fred Weary, number 24. Didn't look like he was going to be an established player when he first got here. He was lost. But the coaches said because he was here in the spring, he came back in the fall, the light bulb came on for Abram Booty.
Timeout called by LSU. So we'll stay right here as the Tigers all of a sudden have burned 2 quick timeouts in this 3rd quarter. But I guess it is a better situation than to make an error if a player is not sure.
Yeah, exactly. If you want your players to be confident in the play call, and obviously Herb Tyler was not ready to go on that play.
Well, coming up on Monday night on ESPN, it's NFL Primetime at 7:30 Eastern. Mike Tirico and company with 90 minutes of nonstop NFL news, features, and analysis, leading you up to ABC's Monday Night Football. This week, Troy Aikman leads the Dallas Cowboys at the brand-new Jack Kent-Cooke Stadium as they take on their longtime rival, the Redskins. It comes your way 9 o'clock Eastern on ABC's Monday Night Football. Well, Mike, this scene down here in Baton Rouge this is Saturday night. Come to Bayou. And if you've never been to a football game down here, or if you're a purist, if you really enjoy just seeing a fun atmosphere, this place right here always provides that kind of situation, doesn't it?
It's great. The entire SEC is like this. I mean, just in last week, Wisconsin and Northwestern. And Northwestern is a beautiful scene.
So it's first down. The ball resting just outside the 20 for the LSU Tigers. They want to break the tie, but they want to do it with a touchdown, not a field goal. Here's that option play. Pitches back to Falk. Tries to turn the corner. That is a great job by Fred Weary defensively, not allowing that play to materialize. Let's go to Mike Tirico.
Ron, fans locked into this game. If maybe you didn't see the longest game in American League Championship Series history, it ends oddly. Omar Vizquel bunting with a runner on third. Misses the bunt, but it's a passed ball. Marquise Grissom, who would have been the GOAT because he blew a fly ball earlier, scores the game-winning run. Indians win 2-1. That's the score of the series as well.
Our situation, clock running. 90 seconds left to play 3rd quarter. 2nd and 8. From the shotgun, drills it over the middle, incomplete. Tyrone Frazier, the intended receiver, and that was Elijah Williams who was covering him.
Ron, it's an interesting scenario in Florida on the sidelines because Steve Spurrier has so much confidence in Bobby Stoops. Usually as a head coach, you move down with the play over on this side, but here's Steve right here offensively. Now, Bobby Stoops is way up at the other end calling defenses. He has so much confidence in Bobby Stoops, he just lets him alone entirely to call the defenses.
See the pressure from the outside. That's Kearse. And the pass thrown, it's really skied for the end zone, and if it had been caught, Frazier was out of bounds. And again, Javon Kearse is the man who is putting on pressure, and I think Tyler is shaken up.
Because I believe Javon Kearse got right around his ankles and caused that bad throw. But he may have hurt his ankle. Javon Kearse, number 42, is going to come right over Kevin Falk. Hits him right around the ankle.
Oh, my goodness, the late hit. That's Kelsey. No flag was thrown. So Kearse did cause the play to speed up, but we didn't see because the pass went high in the air, and Kelsey is indeed fortunate that he did not cause his team a personal foul. Quarterback if he's okay. What a shot he took. Here's the hit coming up right here. The ball is delivered, and then there's no question that should have been a 15-yard penalty. Field goal attempt of 37 yards coming up by Ritchie. Good pass, and he has missed it. Hit it badly off to the left and no good.
Florida blocked the last field goal. They get pressure again up inside. Just hooked it. Didn't get any height on it.
And he just rushed it. No question about it. And it cost the LSU Tigers any kind of scoring opportunity, and they come up empty. That play is heading nowhere as LeBlanc comes up and spoils it. Taylor hit in the backfield and knocked down for a loss.
Ron, here comes the Bandits back on now. The defense where they bring all the athletes in the game. Now they haven't run this since the first quarter, but they're again trying to spell McFarland, Wiley, Miller, and Nixon so that they can go in the fourth quarter and chase Doug Johnson. Give him a breather.
29, now 28 seconds left to play third quarter. Pressure on Johnson. They try to set up the screen. Gets his pass away, and he wisely throws it short. As Troy Twilley was the closest man to it.
And Ron, I like what Carl Reese is doing. Not only does he bring a lot of backups in, but he also blitzes them. I mean, he brings them in and gets them active where they're coming after the quarterback. An all-out blitz by LSU, and they put pressure on.
Sykes is the man who was applying the pressure. So let's reassess it. Third down for the 16. They need to take the ball to the 30 to keep this drive going. Flags down everywhere.
Movement on in Florida. Ron, the other thing this does, when you bring a group in and you give them a special name like the Bandits tonight, they're into practice, they're into the game, they know they're going to get their chance, now they're coming out. Now all of a sudden they're bringing in the other guys.
Anthony McFarland made that point yesterday. He said it's been a happy week of practice because so many more guys are getting to participate, and they're really excited about that.
Well, it does great things for the morale of your football team when you know somebody's going to play. You go to the ballpark and you know you're going to get in the game.
Low pass. Johnson with a nice job of picking it up. Goes long. It's Jontez Green, and he cannot make the reception.
Now, Ron, that looked like pass interference there. Now, Steve Spurrier is really on the official in front of him. Number 19, Chris Cummins. Well, I don't know. He kind of pulled up. Ball's underthrown. I'm not sure that was interference. yet. I'm pulling that one back.
Robbie Stevenson to punt. He has one for 58 yards. You see 3 seconds left in this third quarter. Pretty good kick into the wind, but it's going to hold it up and there'll be no return. Now takes a Florida bounce and goes inside the 45 to the 43. And that is the end of the third quarter with a 46-yard punt by Stevenson. We'll be back for the final 15 after we pause for this.
It's Trucktoberfest at LeBlanc Nissan. Truck on down and get a new Nissan truck for $69.77. $69.77 for a new Nissan truck. $69.77 trucks and more at Trucktoberfest. Only at LeBlanc Nissan. Today!
The most important thing next to a great work of art is a great frame. Acadian Frame and Art combines old world craftsmanship with the latest computer technology to bring you the ultimate in custom matting and framing, plus hundreds of framed and unframed prints by leading national and local artists. Museum quality preservation grade framing by experienced professionals Stephen and Kathy Sherber. Acadian Frame and Art. Old world craftsmanship, new world technology.
I'm Percy Sledge.
I'm LD Sledge.
We're not twins. I'm always a nice guy.
But I get mean when it comes to getting you the check you deserve after an accident.
He's tough. He's a lean, mean legal machine.
If you've been hurt in an accident that wasn't your fault and need legal help, call me. I'll get the job done.
He's one lean, mean legal machine. He's the hammer.
LD Sledge. 927-HELP.
Price LeBlanc is tearing up the used car world. Last month was a record setter for Price LeBlanc used cars, and we've got them starting at only $29.95. So for a great deal on a new set of wheels, think Price LeBlanc Toyota used cars.
Back in Death Valley with the tied score at 14. Herb Tyler, the quarterback for LSU, is on the field after he really took a shot underneath his chin. He is back in the game after having his eyes checked for dilation. They had the pen light out. I'll tell you right now, this timeout came at a very opportune moment for LSU because he is not back in the game with all of his faculties. Sparacino, the backup quarterback, is ready to go and warmed up if Tyler cannot handle decision-making his first and second play.
Okay, we'll watch it, Adrian, as we begin the fourth quarter. Play action, steps up and drills this pass, and has it complete to Foster, and out of bounds, just shy of the 45. That's enough for the first down.
Not only does he have all his faculties, but he's added a few. That's a strong arm throw right there to Larry Foster coming out of the pocket. But that's what Morris Watts, the coordinator, wants to do with Herb Tyler. Roll him out, get him on the corner. He's about 5'9", find him a passing lane, and a great catch by Larry Foster. And Ron, you also think if you're an All-American back, it's Kevin Falk time too to run this football.
But he gets the handoff, squeezes one up the middle, goes inside the 40. He's down to the floor to 39, and Tony George is there to make the tackle on him. That's a gain of about 6, and George is shaken up after making the tackle, holding his right wrist.
Ron, you're seeing an All-American effort tonight by Alan Faneca, the right guard. They have just chose to run over number 66. Here's the block that he has on Reggie McGrew. Just does a nice job tying him up so that Kevin Falk can get through.
George, who's down, and as we said, holding his right ankle, has 6 tackles tonight as you look at Allen. And Faneca, an outstanding lineman, and boy, George is really in pain. As you can see, he's wincing as they try to touch that wrist. And now down on the sideline, Danny Boyd, who's a sophomore out of Bradenton, Florida, is warming up kicking, and it would appear that Wade Ritchie, who missed so badly on that field goal attempt a moment ago, might not be scratched. And now a timeout has been called, and it looks as though Mike they have brought an air cast from the sideline for Tony George. This does not look good for the Florida Gators. So there's a timeout. We'll be right back. 14:39 left in our ball game.
You deserve better. A message from Jerry Guffey Insurance.
I said you deserve better. Thousands called us and done better. If you want low rates, low down payments, with great claim service, with A+ rated companies, you need to call me.
I called. I got better service and better rates.
I called. I got better. A better company with a low down payment and an easy payment plan.
So do yourself a favor. Call Jerry Guffey Insurance today in Baton Rouge, Hammond, Plaquemine, Gonzales, Baker, Walker, and Denham Springs.
Wherever there is a heart of a champion, there must be something to help it prevail. Wherever there is a burning desire to excel, there must be someone to count on to help make it happen. The hearts of champions are many on the courts and playgrounds of Baton Rouge, and Red Stick Sports proudly fills the needs of these champions on the courts and fields of dreams come true. You supply the heart. We'll supply with what else you need to succeed. Red Stick Sports.
There's something special about your town, where the places you go just seem to tie in with the people you meet. And it's not about where you live, as much as it is about the company you keep. Like TCI, for example, a company made up of local people working harder every day to make your town better. Familiar faces in familiar places. That's what's special about your town and TCI.
Boy, I'll tell you, he did absorb.
He got run over.
Yeah, he absorbed the. ESPN's presentation of college football, Florida versus LSU, is brought to you by National Car Rental. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. And by Sonic, America's Drive-In, where we invite you to drive in for a change. Tony George at the sideline, and you can tell he's not only in pain, but he's disgusted because a competitor like that, Mike, does not want to miss one down of a game like this. He knows that his club needs him badly. Boy, that drop play went nowhere as Rutledge was there to just eat up the running back fought. Well, here's a look at how it happened. He really absorbed the blow delivered by Falk. And you can see he grabs for that hand immediately. Third down for the LSU Tigers. They need to move the ball just shy of the 35 of Florida. Tyler sets in the pocket, going to go deep. And he's got a man, Foster, and the ball is just overthrown. Javon Curse again was applying pressure.
He may be the next great player, Javon Curse, at the University of Florida. He has everything you need. He's a linebacker at 6'5", 243, and just runs with great speed. He puts the pressure, being blocked, gets away, gets his hands in the face of Herb Tyler.
Looks like Witten is going to be punting rather than Chad Kessler because of them being so close. The pooch punter. And he aims for the sideline. Very high kick. The wind holding this one a little bit and couldn't get it to stay back in the field of play. Florida will take it over at the 20. Well, coming up on Friday night, it's that time again. The 1997-98 college basketball season tips off with the excitement of Midnight Madness. Dick Vitale will be on hand for the Jim Herrick era. Opens with a night practice at Rhode Island. We'll also be at Duke, South Carolina, and at Tennessee with the Volunteers and Lady Vols celebrate Midnight Madness this Friday on ESPN.
Ron, I'm happy to see Jim Herrick back. He'll do a great job there at Rhode Island.
Here comes a corner blitz. Johnson sets in the pocket, barely gets it away, and he wisely threw it out of bounds. Rayon Hill, number 21, was coming with the pressure.
Well, you know the story last year, the rout of Florida on LSU, and to bring the ball club back tonight, Jerry DiNardo with a great coaching job, but the assistant coaches tonight, what a game plan by Carl Reese, the defensive coordinator. There's Carl right here, and Morris Watts sitting right next to it. There's Carl Reese pounding that glass a stop. And both those coaches and their staff to be congratulated with a great plan tonight.
Well, the Bandit package in the ball game. There's the pressure. The pass is picked up. That's Donaldson, and he will score.
With the Iberville Chamber of Commerce and parish educators, the Iberville Chemical Council is making our children's future a little brighter.
I am tired of paying such high interest on our credit cards.
If the bill collectors would just stop calling.
I overheard someone at work talking about American Fidelity. They might understand our situation. I heard whether you have perfect credit or credit problems, they can customize a mortgage to give you the lowest possible interest rate. We can even borrow up to 125% of the value of our home for home improvements.
Or debt consolidation.
Even if we were up to 4 payments behind, they would find a way to say yes.
Let's call them now.
Dial the number.
When was the last time you slept on a work of art? Presenting the replica iron bed collection, now on exhibit at the Sleep Shop. Works of art for the bedroom, cast by master craftsmen from mint condition originals, at prices you won't lose any sleep over. The replica iron bed collection at the Sleep Shop. Not all great art hangs in a museum. And remember, when it comes to bedding, one place has it all. The Sleep Shop. We've got the bed of your dreams.
second down. So we'll take a break. LSU by a touchdown. We'll be right back.
We're the store of the sports and outdoors academy. The right stuff, the right price.
Where are you going for your next pair of athletic shoes? If you say Academy, then you know. Academy has the hot brands, the hip styles. Name it, we got it. Nike, Adidas, Reebok. Had enough? How about Converse, Fila, New Balance? The coolest selection of the shoes you want at the right price at Academy.
The right stuff, the right price. Academy.
The latest in home health technology, just a phone call away. Get two-way communication 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Holston Health Services introduces HealthWatch. If you have a health concern or recuperating from major surgery, HealthWatch is there. HealthWatch is designed for the elderly, young families, latchkey children, anyone who needs a true companion. Activate HealthWatch from the personal transmitter or the help console. A trained operator will be online to help you. HealthWatch, real people, real help, real security. Call today.
There is a world with no such thing as one size fits all, where there's something for everyone on the menu, and the things you want come right to you. Here, life is good, because now we're working harder than ever to bring you the things you want, so that everything we offer can be used in a way that's best for you. We've done that for you for quite some time, and we're getting better at it every day. TCI. Now, there's a better way.
Check Green on the sideline, knowing that at 12 minutes and 54 seconds that normally that is just a huge amount of time for his offense to score. But the situation tonight, a very pesky and unpredictable LSU defense has thwarted that. They only had 14 points tonight. And Mike, I would suggest one other thing to look at for this point of the ballgame. Penalties, 4 against Florida and 4 turnovers. For LSU, only 1 penalty and 1 turnover.
Ron, I'd look for some kind of rollout here with Herb Tyler, getting him out of the pocket some way.
Sets deep, drills the ball, has it complete. That's Booty. Inside the 20, he's down to the 15. Fred Weary tackled him.
Well, they didn't need to take him out of the pocket. Herb Tyler has played a great football game tonight. Talked about the problems he had in the Auburn game. He has played lights out tonight for LSU. He reads the short post pattern. Abram Booty on the route. Just right on the break against Fred Weary.
Booty now 3 catches, 86 yards, and that's all this had. Draw play. Ball bounces it off. One tackler in the middle, and he was 1 away from getting it big, and Kelsey makes the stop. Adrian?
I'll tell you right now, guys, remember, Tony George is no longer in this game. The update on his injury, probable broken right thumb. He has gone to the locker room in one of those air casts for an x-ray. It actually made him sick to his stomach, guys. You could see the pain on camera there. Now, LSU knows this as well. What they're trying to do is to get Abram Booty lined up on his replacement and go right after their weakness in defensive backfield.
That's John Xnitis, number 26. The senior, he's got a lot of experience.
Option play. Run it back into the boundary. Here's Tyler. He will score. Tigers trying to make it a 14-point lead. Extra point is up, and it is good. Danny Boyd with the successful try, and with 11:40 left in our ball game, all of a sudden we start keeping a close eye on that clock as number one position is in jeopardy. Let's take a break. We'll be right back.
The 98s are here at All-Star Dodge in Denham Springs at I-12. Drive the all-new 98 Dodge Ram Quad Club for an unbelievable lease of only $299.69 a month. And a new 98 Dodge Caravan with all this is just $15,890.
has a Dodge or a Zuzu for you.
Get the best in price, service, and selection with the All-Star team.
Your team, the All-Star team.
On the other side of the sky, you see...
I want a diamond that looks just like that star.
Anything for you, babe.
Oh, really?
Well, then I want that one, and that one.
At Wilson Fine Jewelers, you'll not only find the finest diamonds, finest gemstones, finest gold chains and watches, and finest settings, you'll find a lot more of them.
Buster, that big one in the middle.
Big one in the middle.
Wilson Fine Jewelers.
That's a nice one.
The finest gifts and a lot more of them.
There's a world where you are very well known. You don't need a name tag. And everything you want is brought to your front door. Here, life is good. Because now we're working harder than ever to bring you the things you want, so that everything we offer can be used in a way that's best for you. We've done that for you for quite some time, and we're getting better at it every day. TCI. Now, there's a better way.
So here's a look at Tyler on the keeper. Did not make the pitch, Mike, and he's going to take it into the end zone.
He had to have a big night, and Herb Tyler has had an excellent night here. 157 yards. He ran the ball in the option and scrambling for 46 yards and 2 touchdowns. Remember, no big turnovers out of Herb Tyler.
This kick going to be taken by Bo Carroll. Would like to make amends for that fumble he had a moment ago, and he is going to be tackled at the 22. Gatlin, one of the first men down to make the hit.
The LSU's been opportunistic all evening. They blocked his field goal. Come back, Doug Johnson. Here's the interception. First interception. And they miss the field goal. Come back with the interception by Donaldson for the touchdown. And then on the kickoff, Troy Twilley with the fumble recovery, so they've taken advantage of Florida mistakes.
Mike, back to live play. If LSU called a timeout, they don't have a timeout. The defense coming over toward the bench. They took the 2 quick ones.
Well, Steve Spurrier is yelling at the official in front of him. It's exactly what he said, exactly what you're saying.
You see LSU faking the blitz. No flags, pass thrown complete at the 26. And that is Kareem, who is close to the 30-yard line, and it's Donaldson who makes the stop. And from the looks of Kareem, that hamstring tightened up on him a little bit as he got up. In fact, he's going to go out of the ball game.
If you're going to play Florida and you want a map of how to play them, you study this game tape, because Carl Reese, the defensive staff, have not allowed the big play except for a 53-yard pass to Fred Taylor.
Cooper Carlisle comes out. Now, Mo Collins had gone out just a second ago. So the 2 starting tackles for Florida have gone to the bench. Browning is in.
Well, they're taping together the offensive line.
And Scott Bryan has come in the game. Swing pass. Fred Taylor has the first down. And the stop is made at the 38. Again, it's Donaldson. No, I beg your pardon. It's going to be second down. They had picked it up just prior.
A little more shotgun. Steve Spurrier said it the last 2 games of the last year. They went to the shotgun a little bit more. Now you expect Doug Johnson to be in the shotgun a little bit more as we go to the 10-25 mark.
That was Mo Collins that they were massaging his legs, obviously cramped. You see the pressure. Johnson pass complete to Kareem. Chuck Wiley with the pressure.
By taking him...
You say he caught it out of bounds, I think, Mike. Is that what you think? Okay.
Ron, now by taking him to the shotgun now, he can see a little bit better the blitz of what's coming after him. So he's got a chance to deliver the pass, a better sight on the blitz.
So it's third down. Third down, and the line to make for Florida is the 43.5. LSU by 14 points. About to go into 10 minutes to play in the game. Drills it, has it complete for the first down. Kareem. And you can see the reaction by Joe Wesley, the linebacker. It's good for 13 yards.
And Doug Johnson looks like he's a little bit more comfortable now in the shotgun, where he's got a little bit more time to throw.
We said Scott Bryant at one tackle, Pat Browning, number 73 at the other tackle. A couple of sophomores have had to come in, replacing Cooper Carlisle and Mo Collins. Zach Pillar went out in the very first quarter with an injury. Johnson sets up the screen. Fred Taylor right over the middle. Gets by one, gets by two, and finally going to be tackled at the 32-yard line. Cummings on the stop. It's good for 16.
Johnson's
Ron, by going to the shotgun now, a couple things have happened here. Now all of a sudden you see LSU's in a three-man front now. They are not worried about a running game now. Fred Taylor sneaks out of the backfield, catches this pass, just uses great speed to get away from the linebackers. But you can forget the run now. The only run they've got is a draw play to Fred Taylor. That's why LSU's now in a three-man rush.
Pressure on Johnson, barely got it away, and it's going to be overthrown. Richardson is the man that he wanted, and there's Troy Twilley again, who was applying the pressure. Doug is slow getting up. Look at this.
Well, you talked about Steve Spurrier, said he took far too many hits in the Arkansas game. Here's what's happened to him tonight. Sacked 5 times. Troy Twilley.
Those hits, it's like body blows in a boxing match. They just keep taking their toll on you. Doug Johnson has proven he is a very tough guy, though. 29 of 49 and 3 pickoffs. Gets his pass away. That's complete. Good for the first down, and the official says keep the clock running. And in fact, when they snap the ball again, it's going to be under 9 minutes to play in the game.
And LSU just keeping everything in front of them. Wholesale substitutions. Trying to keep fresh people chasing Doug Johnson. Now they'll probably go under center here around in a 3rd and 1 situation so that they have the running play.
3rd and short. Here comes the blitz. Taylor right up the middle, bounces and spins off a tackler inside the 20. Mixon finished him, but it is enough for the first down. And let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Ron, I want to remind you and Coach and tell the rest of our fans something that Steve Spurrier said yesterday. Gosh, I just can't wait to come in here and use all of our hand signals as we go into the student section where it's so loud. Well, now he's got his golden opportunity, and Johnson has had some trouble reading those signals this drive.
On first down, far sideline, the pass goes and knocked away. Cedric Donaldson, who already has 2 interceptions, working against Green.
What Adrian's talking about there, and Florida prepared for this game to come into this loud stadium, and they do it for all the away games where they expect a lot of noise. They do not blare the music like a lot of coaches do and a lot of staffs do, but what they do is they whisper out on the practice field so that the receivers cannot hear what the quarterback's saying, so that they go to the signal.
10th play of the drive. Here comes the blitz right up the middle. Johnson cannot get it off. Sacked way back at the 36-yard line. Joe Wesley and Troy Twilley.
Ron, that's coming back, though. They're offside. There's no way that LSU was not offside on that play.
There's the call, and it's going to cost the Tigers' 2nd penalty.
I believe it's Joe Wesley. He's so far over and knocked the guard down before Ryan Kalick before the ball was snapped.
So with the 5-yard penalty, they'll step it off, and it's going to be a 2nd down and 5.
The ability now not to huddle, getting the signals from the sideline, cost them some time, but if they were huddling, it'd be about the same amount of time to get the line of scrimmage.
Fred Taylor dropped the football. And again, Rayon Hill came up to make make a hit. Cummins, Hill, Twilly, Donaldson, boy, these guys have been everywhere tonight for the LSU Tigers.
And LSU, in preparing for Florida this week, cut their practices back a half hour every day. They felt like they were tired at Vanderbilt, and they wanted to get their legs up under them again.
You know what Donaldson said yesterday, though? He said, if the truth be known, a lot of the time taken away with special teams. He said, we still work pretty hard.
It's all in the mind.
Yeah. Third down. They need to take it to the 9.5-yard line. Got it complete to his tight end, and Kenny, let's see if he got the first down. He is very, very close.
Flag down in the secondary.
Defensive holding.
so you got the possibility of a run here.
Quick pitch. Fred Taylor turns the corner at the 1. Touchdown, Florida. Frazier with a good block.
A lot of time left. 6:44. LSU's used their timeouts. Florida still has 2.
So the extra point attempt coming right here as Florida tries to cut this to a 7-point ball game. Good pass. Cooper's got it right down the middle. It was 6 minutes and 44 seconds. We'll hold it right here. And our new score, LSU 28. It's top-ranked Florida 21.
Ron, that was an impressive drive by the Florida offense. All out of the shotgun until they go to a running play. But Doug Johnson shows you his strong arm. There, the power arm, but it's just a little bit too hard there for Jacquez Green. Here's the touchdown, the pitch back.
See Frazier with the kick out.
It's a good block there, and the power of Fred Taylor getting in the end zone.
As you can see, Fred Taylor has injured a finger. Is being attended to on the sideline. That looks more like a cut.
And don't forget, Florida picking up a lot of injuries tonight. They've got Auburn next week. Who's beaten LSU, so and really matches up better against Florida than LSU matches up against Florida.
By the way, you saw Taylor there a moment ago, 22 carries, 90 yards for him. He's trying to keep that 100-yard game going. He's had one every game this year. That's probably a fingernail that got ripped off there, if I had to guess, from where they're flying left-handed.
Team doctor's been busy tonight.
Boy, he really has. Falk and Mealy back at a dual safety. It's Mealy to the right side, Falk to the left. And here comes Stevenson's kickoff. And it's returnable from the goal line. Falk. What a block, and he turns on the burst of speed out to the 30-yard line, and man, there was a hit. Let's check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian.
Ron, I got to hand it to you. Your eyesight's pretty good. That young man is going to need a manicure. Now, the Florida defense is in the game, being told directly, get your hat and your hands on the ball. That is, say, tackle the ball. It sounds good, but the problem with that is, as good as Falk is in the backfield and Tyler can run too, you try to tackle the ball. These guys are going to pick up an additional 2 or 3 yards every time out. Those are first downs as they move down the field.
They're going to crowd the football here, Adrian. They're going to put 8 up here to stop the run. They'll lock these corners on the wide receiver.
Straight ahead with the fullback, and it's Banks. He scored 1 tonight, and he breaks it out for 6 yards, and actually, Jerry DiNardo would take that every time.
They've had success with the fullback trap up inside, following Alan Faneca, number 66, up inside on the linebacker. Now you're Morris Watts calling plays. You want to keep Florida off balance, but you want to run that football and move this clock.
Alan Faneca, Jr., out of Rosenberg, Texas, 6'5", 310. They run behind him again, and it's Falk. And you can see he's grabbed by McGrew, a chest-high tackle, and now 3rd down LSU, and they're going to need about 3 yards for the first down.
Play they've had the most success with in this kind of situation is the option play. It's not a pitch. It's going to be Herb Tyler carry it all the way if they decide to go to that.
Mike Falk is hurt. He has come to the bench favoring his left shoulder. We'll check on him following this 3rd down play. Option play. Open side. Pitch back to Mealy. Pitched by 1 tackler, and let's see, not quite enough. He's going to be about a yard short.
You've got to punt the football. If they're a yard short, you've got to punt the football. Puts you in a tough situation here. But again, Florida was looking for the option too.
Well, I have a feeling here that LSU's going to let this thing run as far down as it will go, even take the 5-yard penalty, shoot it into the wind, and decide that they got to play some defense if they're going to win it. Still got plenty of time. The play clock is at 8. Now it's 7. And Green is the deep man. Again, another line drive kick by Kessler. But good coverage, and it's not going to be returnable as the ball is going to roll out of bounds at the 21. Coming up on Thursday at ESPN National Hockey Night, the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the New York Rangers. Yager against Gretzky. 8 o'clock Tuesday. They'll face it off live at Madison Square Garden. National Hockey Night right here on ESPN. Ron Franklin, Mike Gottfried, and Adrian Karsten coming to you from Baton Rouge. Falk, they looked at his left shoulder, and now they're not attending to it.
Ron, here's where the substitute package of defensive linemen on the field, that bandit package, could pay off for LSU. They got fresh defensive people in to chase Doug Johnson.
3 wide receivers out to the right. Johnson gets it away, and it is caught by Richardson at the 26. And it was Theo Williams, 93, with a good rush. And there's a flag down on the far sideline. Florida had all those wide receivers. I don't think everybody was on the line where they might, or was everybody set?
They're calling illegal procedure on Florida, so back them up 5. Didn't see anybody moving. That's the call.
Johnson has taken a lot of hits in this ball game again tonight.
Theo Williams, number 93, one of those young defensive linemen on the Bandit squad.
He's on a Marrero. First down at 15. Clock is running. 4:07. Now 4:06. Can LSU pull the upset over number 1? Here comes the screen. Taylor breaks one tackle but will not get away from Charles Smith. And Smith saved a lot more yardage. Check in with Adrian Karsten. Adrian?
Run the situation on Kevin Falk. That shot he took to his left shoulder, very similar to the shot he took earlier in the game, and had a deep bruise from the first quarter on to the shoulder joint up high, as I say, in his left shoulder. Now, Florida knows exactly where they hit him, but there's no way he's going to stay out of this game. He'll come back when they get the ball back, but watch Florida continue to hit him high.
Johnson retreats, pressure up the middle, and the ball is incomplete. And the reason for it is Johnny Mitchell, a redshirt freshman, also out of Marrero, and he was all over Doug Johnson. Doug had to get rid of the football.
And he threw off the back foot, but here is where Carl Reese's plan's paying off. You watch the throw off of the back foot. He's not able to get anything on that pass. Johnny Mitchell, good pressure, fresh defensive lineman in your last 4 minutes to chase the Florida quarterback.
So it's third down. They need to take it to the 31-yard line to keep it going. And Johnson has gone to the bench. Palmer, the freshman out of Ontario, is in at quarterback. Flag is down. Throws the pass complete right over the middle to Kareem. And now let's check the marker. Is it going to be waved off, or is it against the LSU Tigers? Illegal procedure, Florida. Wow. I think you could tell by that if Steve didn't agree with the call.
No, he hasn't agreed with the call tonight by that side judge.
Foul is a dead ball. False start by the offense. The foul is 5 yards from the previous spot. Still third down.
Doug Johnson coming back in the ball game now. Jesse Palmer had the one play in there and completed the pass.
8 penalties, 48 yards against the Gators. Palmer, it goes without saying, many people think is really going to be an outstanding quarterback. As the Florida Gators have a player shaken up, and it would appear that Kareem...
Ron, there's another flag down on the sideline. Now, this may be a call on the bench now, unless this is the previous call. Let's see if there's another call on the bench here.
Well, here comes the referee. Holds a hand up, and it is unsportsmanlike called against Florida.
Foul is a dead ball. Unsportsmanlike by the offense. The penalty is half the distance of the goal. Still third down.
That is huge, Mike.
A big call against the bench. And that's pretty good hole now to dig out of with 3:18 to go.
So if you just joined us, here's the situation. LSU 28, number 1 Florida 21. Clock is running with 3:10 to play, and it's third down and 22. They need to take it all the way to the 31 if they want to hold on to the football. Johnson goes long, and he's intercepted by LSU. Rayon Hill.
Ron, that's really, it's not that bad. You'd like to have a completion, but it's just like a punt. If you wouldn't have made it on that third down, you still would have had to punt. You got 2 timeouts. You still get the football back if you can hold LSU here.
Here's the pitch, the running play by Tyler. He's tripped up. You can see 52, Dwayne Thomas take his feet out from under it. Florida has 2 timeouts left. LSU none. And of course the Tigers don't want to stop the clock. They want to let it run down as far as possible. And a timeout has been taken by Florida. So this means that the Gators now have 1 in the ball game. There are 2 minutes and 34 seconds left to play in our ball game. So let's take a timeout. The Tigers just 2:34 away from a huge upset.
What do you want out of life? What will it take to get it? What are your best choices? So, what's stopping you? What matters to you? Hibernia, where service matters.
As an employee-owned company, every day we are acquiring ownership in a K-10 ambulance.
And every day we work harder to make the service even better.
We all try to do more than the job requires.
Because it's our company and our community. And we want to give our best to both.
We're grateful for the opportunity to serve.
And for the acceptance the people we serve have given us.
Teaching community services is a big part of our business. We appreciate you entrusting your family to ours.
8:37, 29, 25.
5, 38, 24, 9.
19, 10, 20, 26.
Everybody has their favorite numbers.
12, 34, 22, 3.
Numbers that mean something special to them. These are the numbers of their favorite channels on TCI Cable. Your window to a world that's big enough and wide enough and deep enough to touch us all.
18. Definitely 18.
TCI. Now there's a better way.
My person.
Well, I know that the Auburn game was called the earthquake game, but on that interception just now, that had to be close. As the ball is fumbled by Tyler and he holds on to it and avoids disaster as he goes straight forward. Wow.
Florida's going to use their last timeout here.
So Florida takes their final timeout to stop the clock at 2:26 left in the ball game. And it will be third down LSU, and they need to take the ball to the Gator, what is that, 43.5-yard line.
Game, set, match if they get it to the 43.
Next Saturday on ESPN2, the Indiana Hoosiers head to the Horseshoe to take on 7th-ranked Ohio State at 12:30 Eastern. Then at 6 o'clock, number 5, North Carolina heads down to Baton Rouge to battle North Carolina State. Then it's the Georgia Bulldogs taking on Vanderbilt in an SEC East Division matchup, all next Saturday on ESPN2.
Ron, the confidence of Steve Spurrier, he called them all out, and he told them he was coming. And tonight, Gary DiNardo may get the best of this affair. They go back over the clinic statement after they held him to 320 yards, and last year put 600 yards on him and 50-some points. But tonight is a different night.
Third down, LSU comes to the line of scrimmage. We said they need to take it just inside the 44. Tyler throws long, has his man, and it's caught at the 35. It's Booty. He almost dropped that ball because he was taking off to run.
Ron, there's a lot of players in the game tonight. A lot of great coaching tonight, but Herb Tyler has played, has stepped up, and done everything that people here in Baton Rouge expected out of him.
Well, the streak's in jeopardy. 25-game SEC win streak on the line. 19-game SEC road win streak on the line. Clock is running in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. Folks, the largest party in South Louisiana that has happened in a long time will kick off if this continues. The handoff right up the middle. There is nothing. In fact, there is a loss of one as Elijah Williams comes up to make the tackle. And now Florida cannot stop the clock. It is down to 143 and 142. And for this man, certainly, it will be far and away the biggest win that this school, under his regime, will have come up with. Tonight, the attendance, 80,677. That's the second largest in LSU history. And they're just waiting, anticipating. They have a minute and 20 seconds, and then the jubilation can take over. Straight ahead with the handoff, or no handoff, and it's Tyler on the sneak. It now is third down, and they should only have to run one more play, Mike.
Ron, people at Penn State are already probably looking forward to hurdling the Florida Gators in the post.
Willie Rogers is down, and the clock is stopped at 61 seconds. Well, the ESPN USA Today coaches poll. Ohio State, of course, was beaten today, and what Mike's referring to is that was a win by Penn State. Should Florida drop this one tonight, you would think that Penn State, Nebraska, and Florida State, North Carolina, all of those clubs would move up.
Yeah, you put a W beside Nebraska and Florida State tonight, too.
Nebraska has already won, we've just been told. As you look at Green trying to digest this one, it is a very tough one. Chester Black's here on the sideline as well.
And Ron, you can't get away without saying, what Steve Spurrier has done at Florida in this winning streak. It's been remarkable what they've accomplished in a very, very difficult league.
39, now 38. Tyler straight ahead on the carry. 33 seconds. Tonight's Visa players of the game from Florida. Fred Taylor, 169 yards from LSU. Cedric Donaldson, 2 interceptions. As part of their continuing effort toward the development of amateur athletics, Visa proud to donate $1,000 on behalf of these two athletes. Clock is down to 14, down to 13. Let them count it off for you. The LSU Tigers, a 15-point underdog, has knocked off the #1 ranked Gators from the University of Florida by a score of 28-21.
Potential winning streaks and throw them away. You just knocked off the #1 team in the nation.
Wow, I'm just really happy for our team. They played really hard, and they really deserve to have something like this happen to them.
Saturday Night Live in Death Valley. What does that mean?
Greatest fans in America.
Herb Tyler had to have a great night. He had to be able to run and throw the ball. He did both superbly.
Yeah, he really did. He fought really hard. He kept his poise, and
Congratulations, Coach Donato, on a huge, huge victory and upset. Ron?
Adrian Karsten, thank you so much. All I can say is for all parents who are watching tonight that have kids here, I hope there's no curfew. Final score, LSU 28, the Florida Gators 21. Stay tuned. The Residence Inn College Scoreboard is coming up next. And don't forget, next Saturday, we'll join you from Birmingham as Peyton Manning and the Tennessee Volunteers take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. For Mike Gottfried, Adrian Karsten, and our